Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Back on Thursday.
Okay. And you had a really good vacation, didn't you? Go to like the Azores or something?
Yeah, it was a family trip to the Azores for a little bit over 2 weeks.
I heard about that. I think even after you left, they're like, "Oh, Anthony went to the Azores," and I said, "I don't think I'd ever heard of that, honestly." And then in the last week and a half or so, I've heard that come up in just different. It was a question on Jeopardy. It was a few other things.
Just the Azores, you'd never heard of?
I had not.
I mean, yeah, it's a pretty small place, but it's really nice. Yeah, we're from Island of Piku, if anyone knows. And it was a good time.
Is that a sunny, watery, tropical type of trip, or can be? Or?
It was like 60s. Like it rains. It's the middle of the North Atlantic, so it's not like Hawaii weather, but it's still like really humid.
But that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really nice to see family and stuff. And I've been before, so it's like a lot of, you're out there with like goats and stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
What was the highlight of your trip?
Or was there was a whole bunch of highlights. Like they make all their own stuff. So when you like make food, it's really fun when you just get to go back and like we make like this bread that's really nice there, and you go in this giant like wood fire oven that's on my family's property and just make a ton of it. I have pictures and stuff that I could show you during the break, but it's really fun.
It was a foodie trip.
Oh, yeah.
Food and family.
They like close all the shops for 2 hours for lunch. So we have like a 2-hour lunch. No one eats breakfast. And then at night, like it stays light until like 10:30 at night. So we're starting to eat at 9 and we're not in bed until like midnight. It's really nice.
What time did you say it got dark? Like 10:30?
Yeah, like 10:30.
At least it got dark. Like sometimes some of those places at certain times of year, like it just like where's the
it would have been bad if it got later than that.
Yeah.
My mom couldn't handle it. She was like, I can't go to bed.
Right. It's just Do you guys have I don't know if they do this there. I mean, is it a flip later in the year where it's like dark super early? It's got to be at some point.
There is a flip. It's a lot of it is like summer homes for people who live here, like they have family in both places, because there's like a big immigration when like a volcano went off when my grandparents came over. So there's a lot of people here who go back and still have property there and stuff and family.
Well, that sounds awesome. So you were there like almost 2 weeks, I think, or a week and a half?
A little bit over 2 weeks.
A little over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Well, it's good to have you back. I know you were here for today, at least with us. Chris will be back. He's on a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Dave is gone for a couple weeks. He'll be back in 2 weeks from today. But we are here. We're going to have a good show for you. We got a lot jam-packed into today's show. We're going to take you from now until 10. Alan Stiles will be by. And I think, I'll have to ask Alan, because when our last show was Wednesday, it was really nice to have Thursday and Friday off as a company. I was a little surprised we got Thursday, but was very happy that we had Thursday. So 4-day weekend for us here. But the Wednesday show, we wrapped up. And that was going to be the night that Alan was doing his normal stuff out at the River Cats, and Dave was bringing his family to the game. So there's like some extra pressure on Alan to, work his magic and his charm and all the stuff that Alan can pull off in front of Carmichael Dave. So I got to hear how if there was any extra nerves or any, highlights there or any fumbles, any mistakes. But, Allen's a pro's pro. I'm sure he crushed it. I'm sure Dave tried to mock him and scare him and do something that Dave would do. But we'll get that report a little bit later. Hopefully everybody had a good 4th. I was just talking to Pat Still from our Hall of Famer, Pat Still, by the way, from KNCI down the hall. And we were asking each other about the 4th of July. And I said, and maybe this is different. You were home for the 4th. You were back?
Yeah, I was back.
I would say the last 5 years or so, Anthony, have been so bad with fireworks just in the general area of everybody's home in Sacramento.
Yeah.
That I was anticipating this being like, okay, it's another year. It's going to be, I'm ready. And knock on wood, I'll say, I mean, there was plenty of fireworks, but it was less.
Yours wasn't that bad?
No. Was yours bad?
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, I do the SEPS show on Saturday, so.
Oh, that was the day after the 4th?
Yeah, so I was trying to sleep.
Yeah.
So it made it worse. But I live in Lincoln, and Lincoln always gets kind of crazy. There was like 3 fires.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. And then Pat's up in the elder, like, he's like, no, we have like a dry count. Like, it's illegal. I go, well, it's illegal everywhere, basically. And people are still doing, but I mean, up there, it's like, come on, you got to be fire sensitive. Hopefully, I'm more in the city, in the area. And I just thought, I mean, I'm not saying, oh, I didn't hear anything. No, there was plenty. But if it's been close to a 9 to a 10 the last few years, I would say it was more like a 7, 6 or 7. I mean, so again, I guess it's on a scale, and maybe it's the anticipation of what I thought it was going to be. And I went, well, it was less. The weird ones to me are like, all right. And I guess now I'm saying like the get off my lawn guy, but it's like, all right, I get it. People want to have a good time. I don't know when fireworks start. It's always kind of like basically when it's dark, first starts to get dark. But it feels like there should be. Can we cool it by like 1? And for
absolutely.
You, who was trying to go to bed much earlier, but like when you hear the random one at like 4:30 or 3, you're like, really? We're still going?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. But I will say it was better than I thought. So hopefully everybody had a good 4th of July, enjoyed some time with family and friends, ate some good food. I will say this too before we get into leading off. And again, we got a jam-packed show. Sean Cunningham, our friend from now KCRA, he's a Kings reporter. He's a sports reporter, but he used to be at the station. We've known Sean for years. He's going to be talking to us about the A's and Giants series that just wrapped up last night. A lot of Kings stuff, Kings rumors, Kings things that have happened. We'll get into that with him. He's going to join us at 9 o'clock. But so we got plenty of show to get to there. And before we get to leading off, a few more things. I saw a movie in the theater that I haven't been to the theater in a long time. And I used to be a regular at the movie theater. And obviously, like COVID, when that first started, kind of shut that all down. And I don't know. I just haven't been as much. I've seen a couple movies, I would say, over the last few years, but it's just, I don't know. That's one thing, unfortunately, for me that I really, really love. That I'll get back into, that I've been, I don't know. There hasn't been any other reason than, well, COVID at first, but I mean, obviously I guess it's never done, but it's not in the same sensitivity, let's say, that we were at one point. But I went to go see the new Jurassic Park, and I've seen all of them basically. And I'm not even necessarily like the first one was fantastic to me when it came out in the theaters, and whatever that was, 92, 3, 4, I don't know, something like that. And then just over time, I've seen the last couple. So I'm like, yeah, it's a new one. It's kind of a new batch. It was maybe one of the days it was kind of hot. I'm like, yeah, let's go to the theater. We went to the theater, and I will say it was,
yeah, it was fine.
As the kids say, it was mid. I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell you don't go see it, but I would say go see it. Like one of those, like it's entertaining enough. They do all the special effects and all that stuff. The dinosaur is cool, but like, yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about like all of the Jurassic Park sequels past, like, I like 2. And as a kid, I watched 3 a lot. And then Jurassic World was when I was like, okay, they're just making the dinosaurs bigger every time.
Yeah. And then, I'm not one that like has followed the story. Like, if something happens in this one, I'll go, that's not accurate because remember in 4, like, but at some point, I mean, these dinosaurs are getting bigger and bigger and louder and all that stuff. But couldn't they get out of that island that they were on at one point? And now, like, they're just in one specific place. Though they kind of explain it a little bit in this one, just going.
Didn't they take over the world in one of the new ones?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Now they're just back into a central location, I guess.
I don't know. I didn't watch them.
Well, this one was something about they really only could survive like near the equator, just based on the temperature. Okay. And you're like, all right, maybe there's even some facts behind that, but it's like, I don't know.
I mean, they could make it fact. Like they made the dinosaurs.
Making it
fact, you can do whatever you want with that.
And this one's flying. This one's swimming. This one's. I'm like, all right. And then just people are like, hey, let's go take a boat by where the dinosaurs could be. I'm like,
why not?
What are we doing? What are we doing? But it's entertainment. A few bucks spent. Had some popcorn. I mean, my life's all right. It was fine. Though I've heard really good things about F1.
Yeah,
the racing movie and more so like a little bit like, and Dave was talking about this, seeing like when Maverick came out, a lot of people saw that in
IMAX.
Thank you. I was going to say surround sound. It's not surround sound. IMAX. Yeah. And so I think that one has that same kind of feel, Anthony. Like I'm not the biggest racing guy, but like if you're going to see this movie and you see it in something like that, and you're like, it's a different experience. So I have not seen it. I'm not recommending it, not telling you not to see it, but I have heard good things.
Okay, cool.
So hopefully that one.
I always like those types of movies.
Yeah, hopefully that one holds up.
Go see it on the biggest screen possible.
Exactly. And that, that's the other thing too about the theater. I'd forgotten about that when we went. It'd been a while, and so you're just sitting down there. You have to pay for your seat. I mean, it's your ticket, but it's not even you have a seat. You can pay where you want to sit. I'm sitting and I'm like, oh, I'm in a reclining chair. I'm like, this is trouble. I'm gonna be out. Like, just if this movie isn't entertaining, I'll be the guy snoring in it.
Yeah.
I made it through. Feet up, head back, relaxed. Yeah, it was all good. So hopefully, again, everybody had a good 4th. We'll talk more about our weekend and all that stuff throughout the show. 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. If you'd like to get involved in the show, we always appreciate that. We already have people checking in on the YouTube chat. We had a big week or two, the last couple weeks on YouTube. Really appreciate that. Tell your friends. Let them know we're all out here. And you guys all have your own conversations that we appreciate. We had lots of discussion going on about the Kings last week with the moves they made, some of the moves they haven't made. So we'll continue to do all of that today and so much more like we always do. So we appreciate you being here. But let's do it. Let's get started with leading off.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
All right, Anthony, I've got to ask you. I'm looking for cut number. I'm looking in our show folder and I don't see it. So we're doing an on-air meeting here.
Ooh, okay. I definitely have it there.
All right.
It's July 7th.
Why not
today?
It, but I'm gonna go shows. Is it under our show? Daily Audio?
No, it's under our show, Daily Audio.
Huh.
2025.
Oh, you know what? I think Chris made a separate shortcut, maybe. Let's see.
Ooh, I can play it. Let me play it.
Okay. I'm going to be on a quest to find this because literally the last thing I see is in June. So, yeah, go for it. Cut number 1. When it fires.
Charging Chapman. He's got it. Chapman to first. For the out, and the game is over. Matt Chapman with a classic Chapman kind of play to help rescue Camilo Doval and the Giants. That was a little shaky in the 9th inning, but Chapman and the defense gets it done, and the Giants win this game 6-2 to take the series 2-1.
Yeah, the A's took game 1 of the first ever Bay Bridge series in Sacramento. Yeah, whatever. You got it now. The A's are now here, at least for however long. The Giants' first trip through Sacramento. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later in the show. I mean, the A's took game 1. The Giants took the next 2. The A's were threatening a little bit late in that game. But as someone that's gone to a lot of A's games, I didn't go to any of this series this weekend, but it looked great on TV. I mean, it really did. And if anybody hasn't been out to the park, maybe this was your first trip to the park in a long time. Maybe you hadn't only been to River Cats games. Maybe you've never been. There were plenty of Giants fans. That wasn't shocking. Plenty of A's fans there. Some warm days, but comfortable at times too. Fireworks, obviously, on the 4th. The TV images, again, we don't have a full-fledged baseball stadium here as far as what you see at the major league level, but this is Major League Baseball here. And for what we have, I thought it looked awesome. I mean, I really did. It's certainly not perfect out there, but some some decent baseball. The Giants take the series, as you heard there from the Giants Radio Network and Dave Fleming. They needed to win that series. A's, we'll go over some of the stuff, too, that the A's are now doing here. Even as this year has gone along, it's kind of had some hints at it. But, I mean, they're basically playing an all-homegrown team that now has a couple of All-Stars, and I really think still has a bright future of roster on the field. It's just the other stuff with this organization that they're consistently going through that the players have no control over. But I like where the A's are going, and the Giants were in such a good spot, then hit such a rough patch or trying to work their way out of it. We'll get into much more of that. But, yeah, I thought all in all it was a fun series to watch, pretty good images on TV. And certainly if you went to any of those, let us know how you felt about being out at the Sacramento version of the Bay Bridge series. All right, let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Clifford cutting across the lane. This is his sweet spot right in there, and you can see why off the glass.
Renault steals it away. Showtime.
That's going to be a glimpse of what we're hopefully going to hear a lot of starting this week. Thursday, the Sacramento Kings will be in action in Summer League in Las Vegas. Right now, normally they would be in the California Classic. We've gone over that. Sacramento not playing in it this year. It is in the Bay Area. But the Kings are not playing in that. And now with the moving up into the first round to get Nick Clifford, with the drafting of Maxime Renault in the second round, and a lot of people are anxious to see what he can do, plus the Summer League roster that was officially submitted and put out yesterday that we'll go over later in the show as well. Summer League, take it for what it's worth, but this is really truly a time for the young players to continue to work on their development and some to get their introduction into the NBA. And I've actually become more and more of a fan of Summer League, not in the traditional sense of, hey, the Kings need to win this game, let's get them another Summer League championship. You go for that if you're in that spot. There's nothing wrong with winning those things. But it truly is about development, about getting opportunities for the guys that you've drafted, about the guys that are trying to either make your team or other teams in the league, coaches getting an opportunity to coach and run a sideline and run a huddle and run a practice. It's all of that. And my favorite example, and I don't know how many times we've shared it, but I was so thrown off guard when this happened at the California Classic now probably 6 to 7 years ago when Miami came through, and we were talking to some of the Miami people, and Bam Adebayo was going into year 2. So he played his rookie year, so we knew about him, but I mean, he wasn't developing into the All-Star that he is now. But they said, yeah, the whole goal here is he's going to run the point guard position. I'm going, Bam Adebayo, what? Are they trying to convert him? And no, they weren't trying to convert him into a point guard. They wanted him to run point for the Summer League team and just go through what that means, what that's like, the skill set, the different operations of the team, and the amount of times where if they're playing the Kings, the Lakers, the Warriors, whoever were all there, that team would score and Bam Adebayo would sprint down the floor and then realize, oh, man, I got to run back and get the inbound because he was so used to, as a big man, just run, get down the floor. He had to come back. I mean, he made that mistake so many times because his entire life he'd been, let's basket scores. If I don't get the rebound, let's go. Well, he had to wait in the backcourt. And, there were times where he dribbled off his knee, turned the ball over. They didn't care. You could turn it over 35 times in the game. We want you to handle the ball, run point, run the offense, initiate the offense. And, he's the one that can tell you, and the Heat will be the one that can tell you what kind of true impact that made for him. But that, watching that experience and watching whatever the Kings' plans are for Maxime Renault and Nick Clifford and Isaac Jones and Mason Jones and Devin Carter, guys that we've seen and want to see, put them through work, put them through stressful situations, because honestly, we don't want to see him fail, but it's okay. It's Vegas. Again, if Devin Carter is a future point guard in this league, give him the ball, let him run the point, let him turn it over 10 times, let him not have a turnover. We got to see him go through these things. We got to see him go through the pressure of what it'll be like if he's in meaningful games in the regular season and hopefully postseasons to come. So Kings Summer League begins Thursday, Vegas. Leave here. I'm going to do the show Friday from Vegas, but I'm going to leave here Thursday, cover the game Thursday night, Thursday afternoon, be at the game Saturday as well, and then back for next week. But you see a chance to see them in person a couple times. And I know a lot of you either head out there, watch the game. Summer League is really, really blown up. And as most of you are out there, a lot of you are basketball fans, a lot of you are Kings fans. I just think the trip is fun. It's going to be hot. And when you go to Vegas, it's either 110 or 70. You're either in a casino, the gym, or outside baking. It's kind of no in between. There's no, hey, it's only 85. Nope. You're in the air conditioning or the sweltering heat. But a lot of basketball and basketball junkies, if you make that trip, if you've been, it's between the two gyms. You walk between, check out each game. A lot of people there. It's a good time if you get a chance to ever do it. I would highly encourage that. All right, let's get to our final cut. Cut 3.
Cut number 3.
The Phoenix Suns agreed on a blockbuster trade, sending Kevin Durant to Houston for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. The Rockets are one of Durant's preferred landing spots. He learned of this trade while he was on the stage at Fanatics Fest.
Yeah, that was back when the trade was first announced. It became official over the weekend, or yesterday, I should say. And it even grew. There ended up being 7 teams. It's really, that's the bulk of the trade. And the meat of the trade is Kevin Durant going to the Houston Rockets. The trades and signings and all that stuff can now, we've all seen it from Twitter and Shams reports and Sam Amick and Mark Stein and Mark Spears and pick your reporter. But now trades and everything that has happened can become official. And we're going to kind of go over that on the impact of what some of these have meant. And I'm usually not the guy that sees, hey, look at all these moves. Team X did 5 moves. That team had the best offseason. I love Houston's offseason, actually. This is one time where I'm like, the amount of guys they kept, what they did in aggressiveness and going for Kevin Durant, adding Capella. I mean, just enough little sprinkles here and there, but it's really more about the people they kept in Durant. I think they're going to be really good.
I think giving up on Jalen Green is really interesting. I feel like I know that it's for Kevin Durant, but I think that's
a risk.
Going to be something to look for.
Yes.
I'm not super high on him.
But what will he become?
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. You get a chip on your shoulder when something like that happens.
For sure, but I think, not that Houston needs to worry about Phoenix, but I'm not sure I understand what Phoenix is doing. Durant, it wasn't working with what they had, so I have no issue with them trading Durant, but Jalen, now you're back to the Jalen Green, Booker, Beal, they're not the same guy, but they're a lot of the same style and position type people that are all good, but they need to clean that up, which they can. So I kind of want to wait to see what Phoenix ultimately becomes. Dylan Brooks, to me, that was a throw-in. Yeah, I don't think Houston will miss him, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like he'll end up. I don't think that Phoenix is done moving people around. Be. Yeah,
it can't be. I hope they're not.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
They were the highest payroll team in the league last year, and to be that team is okay, but you can't miss the playoffs. Not even in the play-in. That's a disaster when you're the highest payroll and you're not even in the postseason. And they're not set up well. They got to do the gutting out, and that's the hard part. And they're kind of in that phase right now. So we'll talk more about Durant, certainly much more about the Kings as Summer League is basically here. And we'll go over the Bay Bridge series, the Sacramento version. But like we said, Sean Cunningham will join us at 9. We've got 3 for Madness coming up. We've got Safe for Out. We got What's on Deck. We got audio from the Kings press conference. Had a chance to go check that out as well. And by the way, you don't win the draft grades based on the press conference. But I will say, I was really impressed with the new guys at the press conference. Really impressed. They haven't played a second as a Sacramento King. One of the better press conferences I've been a part of just for their answers. But again, if they can't play, great, you got a good press conference. It doesn't matter. But I would rather also add that on as guys that seem pretty sharp, pretty well-rounded and ready to go as a nice little attribute that they have going in to start their pro careers. All right, when we come back, we'll go Safe or Out. We'll have that next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ever find a deal so good you think, should I tell my friends or keep it to myself? That's Kohl's Summer Cyber Deals. Styles for sunny days, home favorites for your space, and more. All at prices you'll love. Plus, earn Kohl's Cash. Discover new deals daily and get free shipping. These deals are too good not to share. Once you've stocked up first. Shop Kohl's Summer Cyber Deals now. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offers end July 10th. See store or kohls.com for details.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit JTV.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Folsom Lake Ford announces the final days of employee pricing during the 4th of July Sell-a-thon, plus 0 down deals right now at your truck headquarters, FolsomLakeFord.com.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, once again, Jason Ross, Anthony Lucas in, Christopher Lott back tomorrow. Carmichael Dave beginning his vacation. He'll be out for a couple of weeks. We do have Safer Out coming your way in a moment. Did see this on the chat, which I'm glad this was sent. Who sent this? Let's see. Volstron. Good morning. Watched a fun banana baseball on the screen. My kids didn't care. Yeah, I saw Savannah Bananas over the weekend as well. They're at Fenway Park. And have you seen them yet at all or watched them?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen videos of a ton of stuff on, Instagram or Reels or whatever. And I watched a good portion of their game. I don't know, some fireman. I don't know if it's like the Washington Generals, like the Harlem Globetrotters or not. But I watched a lot of it the other day. It was really entertaining. I mean, it's just a totally different version of baseball. I don't even understand all their rules. Like, I think you can win the inning. The one that I thought was cool is if you hit the ball into the stands and it's caught by a fan, that's an out.
Yeah, if you hit a foul ball into the stands, I think. That's so cool.
Yeah, so they're like another walk-off. I'm like, walk-off? Because the Bananas were the home team, but they won the inning, so like the inning just ends. Like, so if it was I can't remember what the other team was named, but they didn't score in the top half. So once they scored, like, that's a walk-off in the inning, so you stop, and then you move. So it's like 1-0 in that inning, and I'm like, okay, that's different. The guy came out on the stilts that was like, I don't know, 12 feet tall or whatever. The catcher standing up. The umpire has the best job. That guy's dancing all game, playing to the songs, and guys are catching the ball and flipping in midair when they're catching it, tipping it off their gloves to other people into their hat. I mean, look, it's baseball too, but it's just pure entertainment. And they just sell out all these parks. Fenway was packed all the way full.
Yeah, and it started really small too, from what I could tell. In college, we learned about the broadcasting crew because they all just got pulled from concessions when they started broadcasting things.
Really?
So like the cameramen are like old popcorn guys.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're all like my age.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot.
Looks like
about
they're
them.
having a good time.
Yeah, they're all having fun out there, and they're making a good product too. It's really fun.
The other thing they were smart about, and I haven't watched them. This is the first time I've ever seen them, but they used. I'm going to forget. There was one guy from the Red Sox that came in that was a former player, like only a few years ago, was on their World Series team in like 18 or 20, whatever it was. And so he's at Fenway, he's getting a great ovation, but he hit he hit a foul ball and it was caught. And the whole place booed the guy. Yeah. Because, I mean, normally it's like, well, one, are you rooting for Savannah Bananas? And it's a former Red Sox who's playing for them. And the fan caught it, and they're all booing him.
You just got that guy out.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that make you feel?
And then they brought in Keith Folk, who was on, who was a closer in, the 04 team. And he came in, and on one pitch, he got an out, and, the whole place went nuts. And he was like, I don't know, he's 48 or 50 or so. I don't know how old he is, but it's good for him out there pitching for, only had to get one pitch to get the guys out. But anyway, very cool. So glad you sent that. I hope you enjoyed watching that as well. All right, Safer Out question 1. What do you got, Anthony?
The Athletics' Brent Rooker has made a second All-Star game as an A. Safer Out, is this actually an impressive feat?
It is. The reason I put this question in there was because it's okay, 2-time All-Star. I started looking at the A's All-Star list. Granted, you have to have an All-Star every year from every team. So I'm like, all right, yeah. Oh, yeah, Mason Miller made it last year. Brent Rooker did make it in 23, so it's the second time he's made it as an Athletic. Then they go to 22, and it's Paul Blackburn. In 21, the A's had 2 of them. They had Bassett and Olsen. No All-Star game in 20. Now we're going to 19. Hendricks and Chapman. Lowry, Blake Trinan, Yonder Alonso, Stephen Vogt, Sonny Gray. Stephen Vogt again in 15. So the last time there's been an A's 2-time All-Star was Stephen Vogt, and it's been 10 years. We start to go before that. Donaldson, Cespedes, Doolittle. Look at in 2014. These are the All-Stars they had. Donaldson, Cespedes, Doolittle, Casimir, Moss, and Norris. So they had 6. Balfour, Bartolo Colon, Ryan Cook, Gio Gonzalez, Andrew Bailey, Trevor Cahill. I'm 15 years in, and there's still been one 2-time All-Star and a Stephen Vogt as an A. Now, they get an All-Star every year, but nobody ever makes it twice. So Brent Rooker, that's safe. That's a pretty cool deal. He's been an A. He probably should have been an All-Star last year, too, but gets there as a reserve to go with Jacob Wilson, who got in as a starter, which I think is the first A's starting shortstop in 50 years to get voted in. And I put that tweet out, by the way, and just a bunch of people took it the wrong way. I was just saying Sacramento All-Star starters voted in to their All-Star game. And I want to say it was Mitch Richmond did it once. Chris Webber did it once. There were several Monarchs that did it, like Yolanda Griffith did it like 4 times, Tisha Pinachero, Ruthie Bolton, and then Jacob Wilson in his first year. And 1 year in A's baseball. There's 40 years of Kings, and it's been twice. It's just a stat. It's a fact. It's not. There's no opinion behind it, but people didn't like it. Anyway,
so funny.
Safer out question 2.
Safer out. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game is the best of the major sports All-Star games.
I think it's safe for sure, but I could hear an argument for hockey. Hockey does a good job, but
I like hockey a lot.
NBA, I'm okay with it. Everybody seems to hate the NBA All-Star Game. It's an exhibition. Like, but people are like, they don't play defense. No, they don't. And when they do, sometimes. But are you there to watch, dunks and 3-point? The last thing you want is somebody to get hurt. But the baseball All-Star and football, they've just literally punted on it. And it's, flag football and or stuff, gimmicks. And that's okay. Like, nobody can get it. You don't want anybody to get hurt there either. But baseball's played true to form. And, it's cool to see, a couple years ago, Shohei Ohtani pitching to Aaron Judge and whoever's going to, Tarek Skubal this year and Skeens and, just baseball's great pitchers and lineup that you could throw out there. I think the baseball All-Star Game is by far the best.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe hockey.
Yeah, I think they're both really cool. The NBA one is a whole different thing for me. I feel like I liked it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and
you liked it better then?
Yeah, because it's more like a celebrity thing. I think that as a kid, these were like, I was looking at them like they're gods, and they're all just hanging out together in the same locker room, and that was enough for me. And now I'm like, I wish they would play basketball, but I get that they don't want to get hurt, so I'm okay with them having a vacation. I think it's cool that they get a break in the middle of the season so that they don't get hurt.
Yeah, the concept of, pick your favorite, like Durant's playing with SGA and Curry, and they've been teammates, but and Giannis, and it's like, yeah, that's really cool, but then, they're not really trying, and here's a lob from half court, and he dunked it. Like, that's cool, but, it's like, I don't know. It's just either you're into it or you just don't care. And that's fine. You don't have to hate on it.
But baseball's really cool. I like seeing the highlights from it. I don't watch the full thing, but I like seeing the little snippets. They're all having a good time.
Yeah.
It's a whole show. I think that's more fun than a lot of the other ones.
And I'm glad they've taken out, like, the winner gets to host the World Series. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
But I love hockey because they want to kill each other.
They do. It's genuinely, and the baseball one and hockey are just like, it's hopefully a souped up version of what you see on a regular basis. It's authentically the game. Or if you're watching the NBA All-Star Game, you're like, this isn't what I normally watch. Or the football, certainly not the same either.
Yeah.
All right, question 3.
Safer out. The weekend in Sacramento for the Giants and Athletics was a success for Sacramento baseball.
Yeah, I would say so. Look, it's not the biggest park. It's not the best park. I have told you I got tickets this year, went in with a buddy, and I have absolutely enjoyed my time going to A's games at Sutter Health Park. I think I'm a huge baseball fan. I don't get to go to games very often as just a fan. Really, I don't ever. And so for this, and sometimes, look, I'm a Yankee fan. When the Yankees were here, went to all 3 games and was loving that I get to see Aaron Judge and the Yankees. But also, I've grown to like this A's team. I mean, you watch them every night and you see them and you go, hey, this Jacob Wilson guy's really good. He may win the batting title. And watching what they ultimately become, Nick Kurtz, their young stud first baseman, and just Langoliers. You just go around the lineup, and watching Denzel Clark make these amazing catches in the outfield. The one 2 nights ago, I forget who hit it, Chapman maybe, and I'm like, oh, Clark's going to get that. He's going to get that, and he just missed it over the wall.
Same thought.
Yeah.
I was ready for it.
It's like you expect him to get it, and these are ridiculous catches. Watching Mason Miller come in to close the game. I mean, there's some stuff there that makes it fun to me, and, whether you're watching the other team, and in this case, there were a ton of Giants fans out there. And for Giants fans that are in Sacramento, the fact that you could just drive right here and go. And to me, why I like it so much this year is obviously I go to a lot more games. It forces me to go to games if you have tickets. Secondly, if and when I would go to the Bay Area, either to Oakland or to San Francisco, for me, it felt like an event and a day. And that's okay, but it's like, all right, what are you doing on Saturday? Oh, I'll be gone all day because I'm leaving at 8 to get to the park for the 1 o'clock game, and then I'm home about 8 or whatever. I mean, I may be over exaggerating a bit, but I mean, it's a day. We're here. It's like I'd literally have left for a 7 o'clock game from my house at 6:30.
Yeah,
and I'm home if I'm lucky 10 to 15 minutes after the last pitch.
It's so nice.
And
Having local sports is the greatest thing.
I go, it's like, I'll be back in a few hours. Like, it's not maybe I eat dinner even at home and come back. I'm like, yeah, how was it? It was great. Home already. Got to get up early in the morning, but go to bed, whatever. It's awesome. And so to have the Giants here for Giants fans, awesome for you. A's fans that were here, and again, I'm not ever going to tell the A's fans to say, I'm not putting another cent in John Fisher's pocket. I totally understand you. I'm just coming from a different perspective I understand your pain, but as a baseball fan, I love that baseball's in Sacramento. And that, for me, is enough. All right, when we come back, still more NBA to get to. We got 3 for Madness at the top of the hour, but do want to go over the All-Star game a little bit in the All-Star rosters. The reserves were announced. There were some pretty significant snubs. Giants got some guys in there. A's have some guys in there. And we'll go over that with the rest of the All-Star rosters, which were announced yesterday. We'll do that when we come back on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Avriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo.
Sponsored by Trex Racing Cage, Chicken Fingers, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Tickets at catpfest.com.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but has been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 77 years. Look for made-in-America brands like Stickley, Bassett, Stanton, Trailway, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sales event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Look, I've played a lot of golf courses in Sacramento, but if you want pristine conditions, a fun layout, and 27 holes that never get old, Timber Creek and Sierra Pines is the spot. The fairway is perfect. The greens, smooth and true. The practice facility, next level. And whether you're out for a casual round or hosting a big tournament, Timber Creek delivers every time. The course is always in top shape. The staff treats you right. And the experience, it's unmatched. It's easily my favorite place to play in Sacramento. Book your tee time now at timbercreekgc.com.
Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
All right, show rolling right along. Jason Ross here with you. Christopher Lott back tomorrow. Carmichael Dave on vacation for a couple of weeks. Anthony Lucas is in. Anthony just back from his trip to the Azores. That's really cool. Have you adjusted time-wise, sleep-wise, all that kind of stuff? Because what's the time difference?
It's 9 hours for the Azores. It's different from mainland Portugal. And so honestly, waking up for this show is just what my schedule was, waking up in the Azores around like 9 a.m. kind of. I don't know the exact difference. Was it wake up at like 3 a.m. here to 9 a.m., 6 hours? So it's just closer. So I haven't really adjusted to being a normal sleeper in Sacramento, California. I think I'm still stuck. But that makes me feel better right now. I don't feel like I'm up super early.
Oh, that's good. No, that's important. Yeah. Now, granted, I've done much more traveling in the United States than overseas, but I did one trip overseas, and this would have been, a long, long time ago. I don't remember the jet lag as of now, so that's hard for me to say, but maybe I did. But what I've always done, and I've actually not had a lot of issues with this, and we're talking 3 hours difference in New York or Hawaii, going either way. I just try to stay in that time zone's time. Like, so if I flew to New York today and they're 3 hours ahead, so tonight let's assume I'm not doing a radio show, and so I'd probably go to bed anywhere between 11 and 1 New York time. So that would be 8 and 10 here. So 8 seems early, but it's like, oh, it's getting late. And so then I'm already, and I'm not saying that's reinventing the wheel, but I feel like I adjust pretty fast.
Yeah. If you stay in the thing, don't change your watch, that kind of thing.
No, or I change my watch actually.
Okay.
Because then it's, like I said, if I flew to New York, you lose the 3 hours when you get there, and it's like, oh, wow, I better eat at the time I would normally eat dinner and go to bed, try to go to bed, and then you're like, I'm on New York schedule. You fly back here, you get the 3 hours back. It's like, all right, I may be tired, but I don't know. But you were dealing with 9 hours. That's a big difference.
Another weird thing was we flew red eyes exclusively.
Okay.
And we stopped in New York for a day and then another red eye. So we went from Sacramento to New York to the Azores.
Okay, so you took the red eye from here to New York.
And then a red eye from New York
oh,
to
wow.
the
So you had a day. Oh, wow.
So
Did you sleep on the plane?
Tried.
Yeah.
So I've been functioning
yeah, you're all out of whack.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
So it's not even the time difference. I'm just exhausted.
I do admire the people like that. I've said this before on the show. I think one of my traits that I'm happy that I have, my wife is less happy that I can sleep anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
The plane, I just haven't mastered. I will fall asleep, but it's never comfortable, and it's the broken neck, and you're like, or it's the dozing off. How long? It was like a minute.
My girlfriend's the same way. Falls asleep anywhere.
Yeah.
She slept through the plane, but at the end she was like, I'm so exhausted. I'm like, I've been awake this whole time.
Right.
You're not allowed to be exhausted.
Exactly. Let me be exhausted. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, we've got NBA discussion coming your way here in just a moment. Any news that ever happens regarding the Kings that we continue to follow, we'll certainly let you know. It's been a little bit quiet on that front. In fact, we're going to talk to Sean Cunningham about that coming up at 9 o'clock. But yesterday, the All-Star reserves were announced, and not without some controversy. But the one thing that's getting a little bit of controversy is something that I actually do like and appreciate that baseball has done is they've added kind of the legacy pick. You know, the commissioner's allowed to pick like a legend or add someone that will likely maybe, and some could argue this way, but I think it's cool. It's Clayton Kershaw got added to the All-Star game as kind of a legacy pick. He just hit 3,000 strikeouts. He's been one of baseball's great pitchers. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Now, the National League for the moment is missing guys like Mookie Betts and Juan Soto. Soto's had really a good year, slow start, but he's having a good year. That's harder to rationalize, but, you know, there's still some other ways to still get into the All-Star game with a week to go here with a fan pick and all that. But I still like it when I know they had, like when Cal Ripken had a pretty cool All-Star moment, his last All-Star game. And look, these guys have done stuff for baseball for 20 years. Like, I don't have an issue with kind of putting some legends in there.
Yeah, I think it's weirder to blame the legacy vote rather than blaming every team needs to have a player on it. I feel like that's
Is that dated? Is that done?
I think that shouldn't be a thing. But then I guess you don't want all the Dodgers on the team, you know?
Yeah, it's not in the NBA, which is fine, but like baseball needs a larger roster so you can make the argument. And that's an interesting thought, Anthony, because, you know, generally, and I'm speaking as a Yankee fan, the Yankees are going to have 3 or more All-Stars generally. I mean, they're a popular team and people vote them in and they have some good players. But like, how would you feel if you were A's have 2 this year, but usually it's been 1, a Pirates fan.
Yeah. How would you feel if you're a Sacramento Kings fan?
Right. But, you know, it feels like they've had guys that should be All-Stars, and if the NBA had implemented that, it'd be nice to know they always had one. Or do you feel like, yeah, that's just token? Like,
I would feel, I don't know. I guess in the moment, being super jaded as like a Kings fan, if it was in the NBA, I'd feel like it was always, they wouldn't have made it in anyways.
Yeah.
They're forcing them to get them in.
It's harder when it's being added. Since baseball, it's there. It's like, well, who's our All-Star going to be? I know they're going to get an All-Star. Now, the problem is, every once in a while there's a team you're like, they like, who's it gonna be? Like, we got to get somebody, and you're picking the guy that's, well, he's batting 271 and has 9 homers and 26 RBI. Really? That's what we're doing? Or he saved 8 games. Like, okay, we're stretching. That's taking a spot from maybe someone that deserves to be. But the worst would be if you have if you don't have that rule, and let's use Pittsburgh as an example. It's now they've got an All-Star, but if you had to have an All-Star and you hosted the All-Star game without an All-Star, that would be tough.
That would be tough. Yeah. I mean, I'm not outraged by it. Right. I'm just saying if people are going to get mad about, like you said, the people who haven't made it this year, I'd get more mad about the random teams that have All-Stars that you feel like they don't deserve to be All-Star than getting mad about Kershaw being an All-Star when he just did something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad for the A's here that they got Jacob Wilson voted in. Honestly, I was stunned by that. And when he was up near the leaders, and then the last week, it was, you know, we were trying to help with that campaign when we were on here Wednesday talking to his high school teammate, Max Muncy, about getting him into the All-Star game. Later that day, it was announced that he got it, which was really, really cool. And then to get a second one, Brent Rooker. I thought the A's, based on record, based on just kind of, you know, spending this one season in Sacramento, they probably wouldn't get a second All-Star, but happy that Brent Rooker made it. For the Giants, none of the starters, I don't think, they never got a starter voted in, but they did get several reserves, which are cool, but theirs are all pitchers. Randy Rodriguez, that guy is filthy. Man, out of the bullpen, he's amazing. Robbie Ray, and of course, Logan Webb making it again. Logan Webb just continues to be an absolute stud. He won the middle game of that 3-game set with the A's, but just not getting the run support. Got a little bit on Saturday, but he deserves to be an All-Star. Robbie Ray's got a great record, and like I said, Rodriguez is just that bullpen. We're back to the same thing on the Giants. If they can get some hitting consistently, my goodness, Pitching's pretty good. The hitting's what's been letting him down. So the legacy vote, we'll see that. There's always snubs. I would say Betts. I would say Soto. There's a few, and Betts, missed some time. Soto got off to a slow start, but now you start to look at what Juan Soto's numbers are. Let me get the latest from Juan because his numbers are pretty good right now. It feels like he should be an all-star. And it would be a name that obviously was the highest profile guy in the offseason with his big payday from the Mets. Here's the very latest. I know he homered the other day against the Yankees. Soto now is batting. Where's his batting average here? Okay, on the season, he is batting .263, so that's lower than normal, but 21 homers to lead the Mets and 51 RBI. I mean, pretty much an all-star type year for most guys and for him. So, I mean, he doubles that up, 40, 100, 260. It's a pretty good year. Low for a guy that's getting paid that much for 15 years, but
yeah, still all-star stats.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. First hour is complete. When we come back, we got 3 for Madness time. We're going to get back into the NBA and free agency. Who's done well in the East, who's done well in the West, and we're going to kind of go over, try to get more and more intel always on what's going on with the Kings and kind of try to lay out what we think the offseason goals are for this team and how close are they to achieving that. Scott Perry in his first full run now with the Kings. I know he was here before, but kind of what that front office is looking to do, what they've done so far, and what might be ahead. That's going to all come up in 3 for Madness when we start the 7 o'clock hour next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at tmobile.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Your wait is over. It's 4th of July sell-a-thon time at your California Ford dealer. Now for a limited time only. Get spectacular deals on an incredible selection of Ford trucks and SUVs. Like the built Ford Tough F-150 truck, part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and counting. Or the adventure-ready Ford Bronco and Bronco Sport, with GOAT modes to help you conquer the great outdoors. Plus, all military personnel, active, retired, and all veteran members of a military branch get an even bigger deal. It's the Ford 4th of July Sell-a-thon. Now is the best time to buy your brand new Ford truck or SUV. But hurry, these offers all end July 7th. So go to your California Ford dealer today. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
It's taste on a whole new level at Sky River Casino. With 18 elevated restaurants, bars, and lounge destinations that include SR Prime Steakhouse, 32 Brews, Dragon Boat, and The Market. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun and experience the height of hospitality. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, we start the 7 o'clock hour with 3 for Madness. As you heard, 3 questions, 3 answers. By the way, Kevin on our YouTube chat was talking about sleeping on the planes. And he said neck pillow is a godsend on planes. I see people with them. I don't think I've ever, and I have one. I never bring it on the plane. So, and I always leave. I go, oh, I forgot the neck pillow. I just never remember it.
I had one, and it made me feel like I couldn't breathe. So I used it as like lumbar support, and that helped me sleep way better than having something around my neck. Yeah.
If you're trying to sleep, you got to be on the window, right?
I mean, I wasn't, because my girlfriend was on the window, so I was in the middle.
Aisle, or you middle?
I was in the middle for a
while.
You
took the middle seat?
Yeah, I mean, she could sleep with the window. If I tried, I still couldn't sleep. So, like, she's got it.
Who was on your right? Or
random
person?
Yeah.
You didn't snuggle and cuddle there?
No.
Wow, you earned points right there. So she lands, slept the whole time, and says she's exhausted while she was sleeping, and you were awake.
I mean, I trust her that it wasn't a restful sleep, but it is hilarious to hear I'm so tired when I'm like, I've been up for 30 hours. Yeah.
Who's the real hero here? Come on. All right, 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. 3 for Madness, question 1.
Which Eastern Conference team in the NBA's moves do you like the most so far?
I don't know if I can pinpoint it to one. We'll go over a couple. I think Atlanta has done a nice job. Atlanta, for one, had some money, so now we're back to the, hey, just because you made moves, does that mean you did a good job? I think they made some sense with some of the things they did. Now, again, I'm not talking about a championship team, but there's a nice retooling there. With the Atlanta Hawks, and they got a long way to go. They got a lot of ground to gain here. I still think you also have to look at teams that kind of basically kept their core together and did some adding on the edges. I think Orlando did well, getting Desmond Bane. I think that's a nice, sneaky move that, people are still going to look at, does Boston have enough without Tatum and all the stuff they've done? And Indiana, how are they going to survive without Tyrese Halliburton? And sometimes it's the teams that you're not really paying. I mean, Cleveland still had the best record last year. The Knicks have a lot of guys coming back. They all should be good, but Orlando was good last year. And I think these are the kind of moves that can help them. I'm not really fully understanding Milwaukee. You've got to do what you can to please Giannis. I don't think the Dame situation, though it might make sense, probably pleased him. And now the Kings should, and I think a lot of teams will, try to put an offer in for Dame, get him on the cheap, because he's not going to play this year likely, even though I heard him say he's hoping to be back around the after the All-Star game. That seems like a lofty goal, but if he's getting paid and stretched out by Milwaukee and you could sign him for some sort of minimum, who wouldn't want Dame Lillard just on a flyer on that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think picking up would be a no-brainer. I don't know how much it would cost.
Yeah, it's got to be cheap, but I also think, I would think the other 29 teams, and this is the first time in Damian Lillard's career that he's basically hitting free agency in a sense that he could pick. And he wanted to go to Miami, remember, in Milwaukee. Yeah. They traded him to Milwaukee. He was in Portland forever. His kids are still there. He's very loyal to his family, to the Bay Area too. I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up as a Warrior.
Yeah.
Or maybe even back in Portland if that's something they wanted on a deal. But if I'm the Kings, I hope they look at that just as someone that maybe in another year and see if he had something left in the tank. If not, he should sign with somebody, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Giannis thing is weird, though, because there's the reports that he knew about the Miles Turner interest, and then there's the reports that he's mad about the Dame thing. So I assume he was talked to about getting Miles Turner, and then they're like, okay, to make the money work, we're going to get rid of Dame, and they just didn't tell him that.
Yeah, so but that's not adding up. And maybe Giannis wasn't, thinking like, oh, that's great, we can go after Turner. Yeah, but to do so, you had to move some guys. I think moving Connaughton, moving a few other people makes sense, but Dame is the one that really had to be done.
It's such a weird, I don't know. Giannis hasn't talked about it directly, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the reports are interesting that he's, I guess not everyone needs to know everything about the salary situation in the NBA.
Yeah.
But if you heard Miles Turner and you know how much he costs, I feel like you have to assume that you have to move another big contract and you're not leaving.
Right.
So
yeah, well, and that whole thing too, I've brought this up many times before, and I wonder, and it's really hard to imagine this because it's being done this way right now. But could you imagine, Anthony, if we didn't know what they made? Why should we know this? And I think our opinions change. It's like, you're paying Soto what? You're paying Giannis what? Or those guys are stars, but we go, some mid-level guy gets a contract. You're like, he's making $28 million per. What if we just didn't know? And then you're like, I don't think we're as agitated by people.
Imagine how hard our jobs would be if we didn't know how much they were getting paid and we had to try and come up with trades.
Well, but also
I get what you mean, but
I also try to put it in our context. So if you just walking down the hall knew everybody's salary in this building,
yeah,
we'd have different feelings about people.
100%.
And I don't know why we should know what they make. I mean, it's just a weird, it is what it is. We do know. And maybe it's not down to the, exact, but it's
yeah,
a lot of you'll hear it at a game. If I was making $50 million, I'd have made that free throw. It's like, okay, it's not that simple.
I don't like that
right
rhetoric, but I think that it's valuable to know in these situations how much they're making. I do get what you mean though. On a personal sense, I don't want everyone knowing how much I make.
Right.
And it's weird if I knew how much all of my friends and coworkers made.
But it's the players splash. We know. Coaches, sometimes you get the report. GMs is a mystery.
Yeah.
It's other people in the organizations you don't know. Well, why do we get to know that, oh, wow, you just signed a 3-year, $12 million deal? It's there's my business out there.
Yeah.
It's all right. But it's what we do. It's just kind of an odd concept. All right. Let's get to question number 2.
Question 2.
Which Western Conference team in the NBA's moves do you like the most so far?
All right. Well, I talked about them a little bit earlier. I do, now that this Kevin Durant trade is official, I do like Houston's deal. And I brought Houston up last week with Dave a couple times in the Sacramento Kings comparison. Now, this is a little bit of a stretch, but I'm going to do this. So, Kings fans are down on the team right now, and I get it. I'm not trying to switch your opinion on that, but Houston's a really good example of a team. If we go a couple of years ago, they were just outside the top 10. I think they won 40 games, but they weren't a play-in team. They were 11th. So that was 2 seasons ago. This last year, they jumped to 52 wins and the 2 seed. And people are like, yeah, but the moves they made. No, they'd already done Van Vliet the year before, and Dylan Brooks, the veterans, the grown-ups on the team. But the development of Thompson, Şengün, Jalen Green, Udoka for a second year, they were confident, they were healthy, they got more production, and they just kept growing. And so they took a leap. Not every team takes a leap, and it takes a leap. And my example was the first Beam Team season for the Kings. The Kings weren't very good the year before, but what they added ended up being the right recipe to get better. They already had Fox, they already had Sabonis, they already had Barnes, but here's Keegan Murray, here's Herter, here's Monk to go with Lyles, and just kind of the stuff they had. It all just kind of gelled the right time, stayed healthy, and they had that kind of year. So as much as we look at adding talent, sometimes it's adding talent, but the fit and continuity, consistency, And so what Houston already has, now they have lost some significant things. I don't want to diminish Jalen Green or Dylan Brooks. They were important to that team. But Kevin Durant is going to be a phenomenal closer for them. I like Dorian Finney-Smith as an addition. I like Clint Capella as an addition, but it's keeping Steven Adams. It's extending and keeping Fred VanVleet, Cam Whitmore. It's just enough of these things. I think they kept Whitmore.
They just got rid of him.
Oh, they did get rid of him,
Yeah,
right?
like it was
Yesterday
I think
or
it
the
was
day
a
before.
separate deal. I can't tell with the 7-team thing. I don't know
Right.
what
That's
happened
right.
when or if it was a part of it, but it was only for like second-round picks.
That's a guy I was looking at that I would like, but it was someone else. Maybe it was Tate, Jashawn Tate. Someone else they kept, and they're just going, all right, it's keeping guys, developing guys. And so now you start to look at what they could look like with on the floor, Şengün and Amin Thompson and Van Vliet and Durant, Jabari Smith Jr. That's another guy they extended. And so you just go, there are pieces that had some experience last year that are well coached, and now they got a dude. Durant may be at times their best player, but it's also, I know he's getting older, but it's just the value of having a guy that's been a champion that can get you big shots. It's still one of the game's great scorers. I love what Houston did. I really did. And I think they're going to be a team that can threaten OKC. OKC's still going to be the team to beat. I think Dallas, honestly, is undervalued in how good they can be. We got to wait on Kyrie coming back. Cooper Flagg's obviously a significant addition. A full year of Anthony Davis. They kept Clay, and you still have the bigs and Lively and Gafford, PJ Washington, Max Christie. It's a good team. I think they got elements of a good team. Denver's getting talked about a lot, and I'm still trying to I get their moves. The whole Valanciunas one is kind of ironic here with him, and I'd heard rumors about that even while he was potentially going to be a king, of him having a desire to go play overseas. Did you have a strong feeling on whether it's a net win on the Michael Porter, Cam Johnson? Because I think a lot more people think that's a win for them, and I'm not certain. I'm not saying it isn't. I just don't know. I'm not as convinced as everyone else.
I think that it's more about injury worries than it is about his actual talent level, in my opinion. Because you look at Michael Porter Jr. and you kind of see he got drafted later because of back issues.
100%.
And then recently health has been a concern. Last season and a half, he has not been the most healthy player. And I think you get someone who is pretty similar in skill level, whether you do like one or the other more.
Yeah.
And he can play that role well. I think that he also is maybe just a culture change. I think that there was something weird going on in the locker room there that we don't know fully. The coach got fired really late.
Yeah.
Getting Bruce Brown back, I think, is
smart.
also a bigger deal. Even though he's probably not as good as he was during their title run.
Yeah.
I think that he was a big part of their title run.
And it's odd that when they got to the playoffs, actually I got more belief in the Nuggets as they were playing in the postseason, because obviously they took the Thunder to 7 than I did during the regular. I didn't feel, even though they had won a championship, I didn't feel like they were going to win the championship. Like Boston, even with whatever the year they were having, which was still good, and before Tatum got hurt, I thought Boston was going to win it. I'm like, Boston has the makeup. I don't care that they're the 2 seed. I think they can win it. Denver, I know they had won it, and they got Joker, but I just never felt they would win it, even though they went 7 with the Thunder. Now getting Brown makes sense. The Cam Johnson thing I think is good. I just think more people are higher on Denver, what they did, than I am. It's not to slam them. I don't think they had a negative offseason by any means. So if we're looking at West, good things. Some other things I question a little bit. It's something related to the Kings, is the Warriors and Kuminga. And I think the thing that's happening right now is restricted free agency has been a problem, because when you're a restricted free agent, the gem of that for the team is you can match any offer anybody has. Well, there's not a lot of teams with money. So Kuminga's not getting a lot of offers. And so that's why, honestly, a lot of people are looking at some of the rumors of what the Kings are offering. They're like, that feels like a low ball offer. Yeah. Do you want to re-sign him? They might, but it's like they want to get something for him. Yeah, you probably want more, but if you're not having a lot of people with suitors that are trying to get him, they're going to offer you low. So I think each offseason's a little bit different, and this year it's kind of been a tough one with not a lot of teams having cap money.
Yeah, and it's all kind of coming to that point where the Players Association agreement is kind of actually coming into effect. Everyone's contract's expiring. Everyone has to deal with these new rules.
Yeah.
That I think we are still trying to figure out. But these teams know them, and that's really affecting the way that they're operating. You see a lot of teams doing so many like little marginal cap space rules. Like they're just trying to get under that second apron,
which is a killer for everybody.
Yeah,
right?
As soon as you go over that second apron, you are basically just dead in the water. That's your team.
Yeah, you're throwing away money.
You can't do anything.
Right.
And I think that that's really affecting his contract situation a lot. And I feel really bad for him because he bet on himself.
He did.
He's really good. And he's 22, I think.
Yeah, he's the kind of player to me, like we could talk about the merits of whether you would want him on the Kings. I would take that chance. I would, personally, because, again, it all relates to what you would have to give up. I would not want to give up too much. But my only reservation, I've said this, Anthony, about Kuminga is there are times I felt the Warriors weren't playing him, and I want to know why. What was the reason? Like, it's not talent, because there's the games where you see him like, man, he's gifted. He can get 30. He's athletic. I wonder if there's a basketball IQ issue, a work ethic issue. I mean, the Warriors play a lot of players, and that's a good organization that I think very highly of. And there were certain times you're like, wow, he's out of the mix. He's out of the rotation. Like, why?
I have two things that I think are going on. One of them's like a tinfoil hat thing. And then the other one I think is...
I'm intrigued by that one.
Yeah. The other one I think is they have a really strong culture there. And I think that they really want everyone to buy in. And I think that that goes into your playing time a lot. Like if you're one of the good locker room guys and you get along with like the stars of the show, I guess like Draymond and Steph, I think that goes into that a lot.
So would that worry you if you're another team, that maybe if that's an issue? Or
I don't think so. I think that's a Warriors thing specifically. Right. My tinfoil hat explanation is I think that they're trying to lower his value so that they can keep him for cheaper, because they are already in such a bad contract situation.
But they would have thought that far ahead during the season at times. So like,
I think so.
Really?
I actually think that's
pretty
my
good
explanation for what was going on in the playoffs specifically. There was times where it's like you have a guy who could do it, and until people got hurt,
until Curry got hurt, then the next game he scored like 30 in the playoffs. You're like, he's doing it.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
I think that because there was reports that he was thinking about leaving, or he wasn't really happy with the direction of the organization, his role in it. So I think they're like, fine, if you think you could do better somewhere else. And this is also tinfoil hat of me. So I want everyone to take it with a grain of salt. This isn't like a real report, but that's what I feel like when I see him sitting on the bench.
Something's not adding up.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Yeah. Interesting. But I think he's had a rough offseason in that sense. And the Warriors are kind of restricted to him, too. Like a lot of the moves are waiting to see what happens with him.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Because of that second apron.
Yeah, it's a killer for a lot of teams. By the way, on the text line, I like this because we were talking about knowing player salaries. Like, why should we know? From the 530, try working in the public sector. All of our wages are public information.
That is crazy.
Tell me what you do. I'll look you up, see what you make. No, that's just, I mean, I guess I could. That's weird. I never really thought about that. But yeah, you're right. Very public information. All right, let's get to question number 3.
Question 3.
What do you think the Kings' goals are for this offseason?
Well, all right. So let's try to crack the code here and, some of the information we've been able to learn, some of the people we've been able to talk to, and some of the things they've already done. Let's start with what they have already done. So obviously, they needed a point guard. We can and we will probably argue and dig deep into the merits of Dennis Schroeder. Point guard, fact. Me personally, I would have looked at a few other people. I'm not anti-Schroeder. I think he will help. He can play. He's been in a lot of different teams. That poses a little bit of a red flag for me, but there is an absolute need for a point guard. Now, Dave was on the other side of that. It's like, why? Why not play Carter and Monk or Ellis? Or they could. But also, I mean, this is where Dave and I differ. I mean, he's more of he kind of wants this team to pick that direction of kind of a going backwards to ultimately go forwards, and maybe going backwards will be by playing Carter and Ellis and Monk and make it tough on playing a point guard and lose more, and you get a higher lottery pick and kind of reshuffle the team. Yes, that is a way, that is a strategy that's not foolproof, but it is a strategy, and it has worked for some organizations, hasn't worked for others, and that's why I gave him that stat last week. I go, the last 10 years, the worst records of teams, and I think, Anthony, it was Detroit was the worst record of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's Charlotte, it's Sacramento was like 8th, it's Washington. I mean, it's the teams that are still in the lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more times than not, it's not foolproof. Any of these things are never foolproof. More times than not, you get in the lottery, you're there for a while. And then you hopefully cycle through and you get it right after multiple draft picks, and then you get out of the wash and you're good. Sometimes someone dips their toe in one year, boom, right back, and they're good. All right. It doesn't always happen that way. But I think like some of Dave's examples have been how Houston's rebuilt, how OKC and a few other teams. I said, but what they had, we have to remember, is huge assets that they then turned into help their future. And that was James Harden, Paul George, and OKC. I mean, that turned into, really, they did that deal for picks. SGA was part of it. Oh, by the way, turns into an MVP and one of the great players in the league. That was a huge break. But they did it. They created that. So anyway, with that all being said, the Kings, as an organization, I do not believe they do want to. I don't think they want to bottom out. I think they want to stay as competitive if possible. I think that's what Vivek has shown us. Now, again, they haven't been able to achieve this, but this is the direction, I believe. So Scott Perry is a new general manager. Doug Christie, let's be honest, is still a new coach. It's his first run as a full-time head coach. You got to put him in his best possible situation to succeed. And so with that, they need a point guard. And again, we can go back to the merits of whether or not Dennis Schroeder's the best choice, but that is the Kings' choice. Back to not a lot of teams having money, not a lot of free agency out there. Russell Westbrook was a guy that was talked about, and I still believe is out there. Whether or not that's something the Kings are going to fully explore, but they were exploring. And then, like Sam Amick has told us, I'm sure there's a desire to move Zach LaVine. I don't think you're getting a lot of takers. I think there is a desire of others to want DeMar DeRozan. I don't think the Kings are hearing what they want to hear for DeMar DeRozan. And the next part would be, that's why Malik Monk is coming up a little bit more prominently here. And so that's kind of the direction of what the Kings are trying to figure out, is how to stay competitive, add to your roster. There was the thought of the adding Monk into that Schroeder deal, which I didn't like as much. Then kind of they got off of that, added Valanciunas for Saric, freed up some money, was able to get Schroeder, and then added Eubanks as a veteran backup big man. I just think is filler to me. I mean, it's fine. It's another body. But it's now what's next to me that'll be the most important thing for the Kings. We're going to get into that in a moment, but we do have some breaking news. Do you have the breaking news, Bed?
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sacktown Sports Breaking News.
All right, Anthony sent me this, and I had to process this while I was hearing that Bed. Breaking, according to Shams Charania. The Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to Miami. Remember, Norman Powell had a really good year this year, played like an all-star. John Collins to the Clippers, and Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second-round pick to the Jazz. All right, so let's get this again. Clippers, Jazz, and Heat. The Heat get Norman Powell. John Collins goes to the Clippers. Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second-round pick to the Jazz.
I don't know what the Heat are doing. I feel weird about what's going on with the Heat. It's a good. I like Norman Powell, but I don't really understand what's going on with the Heat.
They've been rumored to be moving Wiggins. Well, Kevin Love basically doesn't play anymore. Kyle Anderson was their trade pick last year.
Mm-hmm.
2027 Clippers second round pick to the Jazz. Yeah, I don't know that was that risky for the Heat.
No, it's not super risky.
It's contract wise.
I'm just confused about like they really want to be like the 4th to 8th seed in the East all the time.
Yeah.
Which I guess talking as a Kings fan,
we take that.
Yeah.
But
it's weird when I feel like they could get better if they just tried to get some young people and then work a little bit more. I think it's more interesting for the Jazz as well. I don't know what they're doing. That whole trade is kind of weird to me.
It is a bizarre trade. And then, John Collins is a player that I know Kings fans have wanted for years. I haven't been as high on as others have been. But going to the Clippers will be interesting. So they still have, Kawhi and Harden. Kind of cleans up some of that backcourt, I guess, with Powell. Like there's a little bit of some duplication there. Collins will help him in the front court. Interesting. So, again, the Miami Heat have agreed to trade, along with the Clippers and Jazz. Let's see, the Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to trade that sends Norman Powell to Miami, John Collins to the Clippers, and Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second-round pick to the Jazz. Okay. Very interesting. Basketball never sleeps. It never sleeps. I'll clean up more of what I was saying about the Kings because this breaking news came in, but I do want to talk about kind of what I think their goals are for the offseason if they are able to achieve it, and there's more to go. But really the next element, and a lot of people I've seen the Kings haven't done that much. Let's also go to the overall pool. Like more times than not this offseason, the signings have been with the same team. There's been a few people that have changed team, Miles Turner, a few others, but the Rockets keeping their guys. A lot of times it's keeping your guys. Kings have added a few. It hasn't been a sexy offseason by any means, but it's really going to be about the draft picks, about player development, and I think the trades. That one hasn't happened. We're still keeping our eye on Kuminga, if that's something that can happen with the Kings, and what other moves are next. But how this has all changed, and can the Kings create another team like they did with the original Beam team, whether it's this year or in the years to come? We'll have that and more on this NBA trade that just broke. We'll have all that coming up right here on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, there's a real chance of Jacob Wilson starting the All-Star game. As of the start of the A's current trip, he had a 250,000 vote lead at shortstop. Next up, the final vote of the top two finishers. If he wins that, he'll become the first A's shortstop to start the game in 50 years. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
This summer, give your kids a reason to smile, brightly. At Kids Care Dental, we make dental visits fun with a kid-friendly team, easy-to-schedule appointments, and expert doctors who really care.
Whether it's a checkup, a cleaning, or their very first visit, we've got you covered. We accept most insurances, and we're always ready when your schedule gets hectic.
Smiles grow here. Book online in minutes at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com. Kids Care Dental, where healthy teeth make happy kids.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990.
$99.90 now. Celebrate the 4th with freedom from high prices. The 4th of July savings sale is happening now at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Fire up your summer with 4th of July savings on a new Civic or Accord. Own or lease today at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, back here on the show, Jason Ross, Anthony Lucas in for Christopher Law. Dave is on vacation. Chris is back tomorrow. So before we went to break, had the breaking news with the Shams Charania bomb as far as the trade. Again, here's the trade. The Clippers, Jazz, and Miami Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to Miami, John Collins to the Clippers, and Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second-round pick to the Jazz. All right, I've had a little more time to process this. And let's give you some of the financials according to our guy, Bobby Marks. This guy's so good at the contract stuff. All right, the Clippers are getting John Collins. He's going to make $26.6 million this year in the final year of a deal. So he'll be an unrestricted free agent next summer. But he is extension eligible, which would be about 3 years, $100.5 million for the next 6 months is when he's eligible for that. So the Clippers have time to work on that. Miami Heat gets Norman Powell, who's in the final year of a $20.5 million. Again, knowing these guys' salaries, here we go, sharing their business. Unrestricted free agent, though, next summer. He, too, is extension eligible, 3 years, $80.6 million for the next 6 months. And then the Utah Jazz are getting Kyle Anderson, who's going to make 9.2 and then 9.7 over the next 2 years. His guaranteed date is in next June, I guess. And then Kevin Love is going to be in the final year of a $4.5 million deal. And some have praised that they got another asset there for Collins. And I'm like, I don't, now that I'm looking at this, I don't love it at all for the Jazz.
Yeah, I don't know what the Jazz are doing ever. In the last probably 3 years, I think that they just really are putting all of their chips in on being good at drafting, and frankly, it does not look like they are that good at drafting currently. Also, they haven't had the best luck in the lottery. But a second-round pick is kind of the most value that you got there. Yeah, it's not.
If there was a first rounder, I'd feel better. Kevin Love, I love, former Bruin, has a great career, but he's at the end. If he even plays, maybe they buy him out, maybe they waive him. I mean, he barely saw the floor in Miami anymore. Kyle Anderson's actually a nice player. I wouldn't have minded him on the Kings, but like Kyle Anderson is the kind of player that you want on a team that's pretty good. But Kyle Anderson on his own, I don't think he's elevating the Utah Jazz.
Not at all. And I don't know if that's even what they want to do.
Right.
I think they're still stuck in that I want to tank and lose mode. So then you look at the pick and you're like, okay, then you must have gotten something there. And a second round pick is a second round pick.
John Collins should have got you more. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I get so then if we're basically just doing John Collins for Norman Powell, even though that's not the exact way they moved, that feels kind of even in a sense. I mean, they're different types of players, but they both came off good years. They both have 1 year remaining. Collins makes a little bit more than Powell. Powell in Miami will give him another score. I don't think it elevates him tremendously. Collins to the Clippers, I think, will help. Gives him a lob threat. Harden's pretty good at that. Zubats. Who do they add? Lopez.
Yeah.
Collins. I mean, they're bigger front court, good back court. Clippers every year, they've been a team like for about 6 years. I'm like, I think they could really do damage. I thought they could beat the Thunder, honestly, if they got to them this year. They didn't get to them. And I don't know. I think they're well coached. I thought Van Gundy added a lot to them defensively this last year. as a defensive coach. But anyway, so that was the trade. But I do want to clean up a few more things because it kind of relates to all the stuff, whether it's Kings related or other teams or stuff Dave and I have talked about, to what you just said, Anthony, about the Jazz. So the people that are in the camp of to get better, you have to tank. There are some people that think that way. And here would be my pushback. I think if that's the route you go, and really whatever route you go, this makes sense what I'm going to say. I think you basically have to get your moves right. So if you're trying to be a team, where I think the Kings are, is kind of thread that needle of having some assets. You make the right moves. Maybe you make the jump up from being kind of that borderline play-in team to can you get to the top 6, top 7, 8, more consistently? Yeah, but that's a difficult thing to do, to thread the needle. But whatever you do, you have to draft right, trade right, free agency right, player development right. I mean, you got to get your moves right. So my example here with the Utah Jazz, they've been a lottery team for a while. When you trade Mitchell and you trade Gobert and you get all of those picks, at some point you want to go, all right, we got a ton of draft picks, but here is the player we are building around. And right now I still feel like it's Markkanen for the minute because that's a guy they acquired, but I don't think Markkanen's there for the long term. But what young player do you go on the Utah Jazz? You go, that's it. That's the guy. That is the player. So let's take Detroit, for example. Okay, pick after pick after pick. Right now they're going, it's Cade Cunningham. That's the guy they're going to build around. And maybe Azor Thompson and some other things are starting to develop. You're like, okay, Ivy could be a guy. They're starting to put some pieces together from bottoming out, from drafting year after year. And you go, all right, they found a couple. And so I think that's what has to happen. You have to draft correctly, trade correctly. And this trade, I leave scratching my head a little bit for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like I said earlier, I think that they're still going all in. I think that it's just a little bit of Danny Ainge is a very stubborn guy. I think that that's been shown through all of his moves.
Yeah.
Even the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert thing. I think that the whole thing that he did with New York and with Cleveland, that just kind of stringing everyone around. Like, I'm going to get what I want from this. And maybe it's gone into a little bit of he committed that he's going to tank and they're going to do this very specific way.
Right.
And it hasn't worked out. And no one, maybe people have told him, but he hasn't figured out that this isn't working.
Yeah.
Or he can't accept it because he is just like a stubborn dude. I think that everyone who has worked with him has kind of talked about how he's like a little bit of a stubborn guy.
Yeah. And, again, you can have all the draft picks and all the draft assets. Those are good things to have, but they have to turn into something, whether it's in the drafting process and getting that right or flipping those later, like what OKC has. This was my thing I said about OKC, and maybe this year I didn't get it right on them, but I thought I would have made more aggressive trades to get players to go with that incredible roster they already had, because I go, look at all the future draft picks they have. Well, at some point they're going to break up this. It just is going to happen. They're not going to have SGA, Chet, Dort, Jalen Williams. They're not going to be on the same team for 10 years. It's just the league doesn't work this way.
Yeah.
But they might have a pretty good run here for a while. Like Giddey should have been a part of that. He's already gone. But Caruso was the kind of player that helped bring them together. And I thought, like, man, bring Durant back. They could get Durant from Phoenix this year while they were playing and almost guarantee themselves a title. Well, they didn't break it up, and it worked. Congrats to them. But now seeing what everyone else is doing, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of maintain that aggressive approach. You can have 800 picks going forward, but you either need to get them right or flip that into another player. Like, yeah, who's going to beat us now? And someone said this, and I knew this was coming. This is from the 916. You're telling me the Kings couldn't do better than Kyle friggin' Anderson and a second-round pick for Collins? Fair question.
First thought, who knows if we called at this point? New GM.
Right. I mean, I think everybody's talking, but the point might even be forget the Kings. Like, couldn't the Jazz have done better?
Absolutely, they could have.
Yeah.
But again, like, there's this weird. Danny Ainge to me is this like mad scientist dude who got put into Utah and then immediately lost all of the like
his
powers
faculties,
that he had, and
his
it's
superpowers.
just, and it's a weird situation. I think that the Donovan Mitchell thing really messed up the whole entire trajectory of this franchise. I think that they could have gotten more from him. I think they got a lot for Gobert. I don't really understand what they've been doing for the past 3 or 4 years.
Well, and that also leads to, back to, if as Kings fans you wanted them to bottom out, I think the chance to do that was with De'Aaron, and they didn't. They didn't do that. They didn't take that path. That was their chip. That was their asset that they could flip into a bunch of future picks if that's what you wanted. They got Zach LaVine. They wanted to stay and see if they could thread that needle again and stay as competitive as possible, win games, get into the top 10, top 6. They didn't. Well, they got into the top 10, lost the play-in, and here they are now with a large contract, a need of a point guard. They got Schroeder, and still kind of reassessing. And another one here, Jason, do you think Collins going for a second further solidifies Kuminga's value is where it's at? Yeah, I think Kuminga and the Warriors are in a tough spot. I think the market has thinned out for a lot of guys and teams, like Anthony said earlier, that everybody is so cautious of this apron, the second apron specifically. And so, the Kings certainly aren't a championship caliber team. So if you're trying to get a player like Kuminga, you're either a team that's looking for just a young upgrade in talent and hope that, that player really blossoms into a special player in your organization, or you're trying to add him to a team that's like, this player is going to be the one that helps get us over the top. So it's going to be interesting to watch, but that trade was very, very interesting. Again, one more thought, if you're just joining us, the trade is the Clippers are getting John Collins, the Miami Heat are getting Norman Powell, and the Utah Jazz are getting Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a second-round pick from the Clippers. All right, we got more to get to. When we come back, we've talked a little bit about the past Kings roster as far as guys that were here last year, but the Summer League begins this week for the Kings, and their roster is set. We're going to talk about the expectations for those guys and what you can start seeing on Thursday when the Kings are in Vegas playing their first game. We'll have that next.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
Oh, and that's a hard foul. Let's listen for the call on the floor.
The taxpayer owes back taxes. Penalties and interest are assessed and wage garnishments to begin immediately.
The IRS never misses that call. I wonder if they will challenge it.
The call is under review.
Priority Tax Relief has been called in for a review. Priority is the best in the business at negotiating your tax debt and has even eliminated the debt for some clients. Priority Tax Relief is saving their clients millions of dollars every month.
After a careful review from Priority Tax Relief, the debt has been eliminated. No foul on the play.
Whoa! That completely changes the game, folks.
If you owe more than $5,000, call Priority Tax Relief, and in minutes they'll review your case for free with a direct line to the IRS to see if you qualify for life-changing relief. No more worrying about wage garnishments or frozen bank accounts. Call Priority Tax Relief today at 800-899-2289. That's 800-899-2289.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Call now.
Priority Tax Relief.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Is your AC on the fritz? Call Bell Brothers. Looking to replace your old unit with a 0% financing and no payments for 12 months on approved credit? Call Bell Brothers. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. The price we quote is the price you pay. We are the No Surprise guys. Call today to get a free estimate on a new HVAC system, or simply schedule your $87 AC Precision tune-up to keep your system running smoothly. With more technicians, more trucks, and more experience, we get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Great conditions, a fun layout, and unbeatable value. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines are Sacramento's #1 rated golf destination. With 27 holes, a spacious practice facility, and professional instruction, there's always a way to improve your game. Planning a tournament or corporate event, they offer customizable packages and award-winning catering to make your event effortless. Timber Creek is easy to find in Roseville, but hard to forget. Book your round today at timbercreekgc.com or call 916-774-3851.
4th of July, it's all about family, fireworks, and freedom. And this 4th of July, Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is offering your family the freedom to choose America's brand at the guaranteed lowest price in town. This 4th of July, the fireworks are starting early at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You can check out one of Northern California's largest selections for yourself at sacssuperstore.com, where you'll find the lowest prices on the new Ram, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, the whole lineup. Centrally located across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course, and visit them online to see their full selection and their guaranteed lowest prices at sacssuperstore.com.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
Clifford cutting across the lane. This is his sweet spot right in there, and you can see why off the glass.
Renault steals it away. Showtime.
Some highlights from the newest Kings. Maxime Renault, meet Clifford. They had a press conference a couple days ago. I had a chance to go out and check that out. We'll give you our observations of that. Here's some audio from that coming up as the show rolls along. Jason Ross, Anthony Lucas in this morning. As happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed the holiday weekend. Got some time off. Still leftovers out there? Man, leftovers are good. Food the next day. Prepared right. Good deal. Love it. We had a big seafood boil again on the 5th of July after cooking a bunch of barbecue stuff on the 4th. And for someone that can't eat shellfish or any of that, it just looks like everyone else is mowing it down. I'm the guy over there eating hot dogs. That's fine. I love that post, by the way. That was a classic G-Man the other day. It was the day of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. I think Joey Chestnut ate, I think it was 70 and a half. And G-Man posted a picture of him eating a hot dog, which he loves hot dogs. It was like G-Man 1, Joey Chestnut 70 and a half. It was close.
Classic.
But G-Man's was all dressed. I mean, he's not dumping it in water and just horking it down. Come on. Anyway, hopefully everybody had a good 4th. We're talking a lot about the Kings. Again, the trade, if you missed it, not the Kings related, but NBA related. Pretty big one involving the Clippers, the Heat, and the Jazz. The Jazz getting Kyle Anderson and Kevin Love in a second-round pick. The Heat getting Norman Powell. The Clippers getting John Collins. A lot of Kings fans a little upset about that, but look, you got to have, I mean, if you look at what the Jazz got, so now we go back to that, which I didn't think was a lot, but Love isn't expiring. A second-round pick they obviously wanted, and Kyle Anderson maybe can help fit some sort of glue for them or be a guy they can move, but he's got a second year on that deal. But they didn't take on a lot of salary. They also, as a texter said earlier, still have Ace Bailey, who they drafted, who also didn't really even want to be there. So Utah's got a lot of things going on right now, and as easy as it is to say, just bottom out, be terrible, get draft picks, when you're going through that, it stinks. It sucks. And the Kings should know this, 18 of 19, 19 of 20 years of not making the playoffs, but there's been some years in there that were really bad. The year they won 17 games and had the worst record, it was awful. It was an awful year.
Yeah.
It's not fun to go through that.
It's not.
Yeah.
It was my life. My entire life.
Pretty
was
much
like
your
that.
entire life.
I'm not quick to want to go back.
That's why 2 years ago was so much fun, and everybody that was not complaining, there wasn't everybody, but like, you have to enjoy that ride. No one expected a championship that year, but the Beam team, the first one, that was a lot of fun, and they were doing some things we hadn't seen in a long time, and that ride was a lot of fun. You had the GM of the year, coach of the year, clutch player, all-stars. Granted, it's all gone and changed, but you had to enjoy that. So the next evolution of this is the Summer League, and it's here. It begins on Thursday for the Kings. They'll have their first game Thursday in Las Vegas, and their Summer League roster was officially announced. And a couple things I'm going to be looking for. First and foremost, you start with the draft picks, and that is Nick Clifford and Maxime Reynaud. And again, Summer League isn't the end-all, be-all. It's not the tell of they got an all-star or they got a bust. We don't need to go that far on anything when they play, but you watch, you start to get evaluations. And the way I do it is like kind of the first assessment to me of a rookie is, do they look like they belong? Now, it's a different level here of Summer League, but you also don't want to look at it and go, oh, these guys are way behind or slow or short or something that draws your attention. And I'll give you two examples, positive and negative. Very first time went to Vegas to see De'Aaron Fox. You're like, wow, this guy is a blur with the ball. Like it just jumped off. You could just tell, and you didn't know what that would translate to in the NBA. He was a high pick. We had high hopes, but you just watch him like, I see it. This guy is different. He's just different than the people out on the floor, and I think he'll be different when he's playing against NBA players. And he was. That was a good sign. Now, De'Aaron had a solid rookie year, but truly developed into, he's a really good player. When the Kings took Yorgos Papagiannis, it was a controversial pick. It's like, all right, he's a big, but seems like a stretch, but let's see. And he got to Vegas, and you're like, man, he's slow, doesn't have the best hand. And you're like, oh boy, this is more of a project. Now, I'm not done with him, but it's more of a project than I thought, and ultimately his career wasn't very long, and the NBA didn't turn out to be a very good pick. So it's not the end-all, be-all, but you want it to be more like De'Aaron when you go, or this attribute, boy, this guy could shoot, or his first step, or something that stands out. Or bottom line is, this guy fits. It's like, it looks like he can run a team, or he's playing well. And I think when we're watching Nick Clifford, I want to see a guy that, to me, seems to have a lot of versatile traits. He's a guy that can play multiple positions. He's a guy that can handle the ball a little bit, but maybe plays more 2 or 3. He's got that size. He's a really good rebounder, can play defense, longer arm. Like, I want to see some of those traits for Nick Clifford. And for Maxime Reynaud, 7'1", he already stood out at the press conference. You're like, wow, okay, this guy's obviously tall, can shoot the ball, can stretch the floor. And when we talked to his college coach, last week, 2 weeks ago from Stanford, he's like, look, I know some of the things that people are talking about is shot blocking. I told him not to. I told him not to go after shots. I needed him on the floor. He was too valuable. It was a thing. It was a trait that he has, that it was more coaching than his inability. So I want to see what kind of rim protection he can do as well. So those are things that I will be watching for from those guys. And then it's also the guys that are going to play that we do know already. Like Anthony, I'm really excited that Devin Carter's playing, because last year he didn't get a chance to play in the Summer League with his injury. And I want him to be put in all the situations, playing the point, go get 30, go guard, go succeed, go fail. Like there's nothing he can do that in a negative way that, barring just play terribly, but I want to see him get the reps, because if he's going to be a part of the future of this team, he needs more reps, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I want to see him get up as many shots as possible.
Yeah, no bad shot.
Point. Yeah. I want whoever gets the rebound, dump it to him every single time. Treat him like Bam Adebayo during that year that you were talking about. But I want to see that definitely from Devin Carter specifically. From the rookies, I just want, like you said, just like competence. I want them to be running. I think a big sign that I look for in Summer League is jumping passing lanes. I think that shows a little bit more you're comfortable out there. If you're on defense and you're just kind of watching where everything is, and you're kind of a defensive guy like Nick is, I don't want him to look nervous. I want him to be jumping passing lanes. I want to see fast breaks. I want him to be active. I want to see him communicate too. I feel like he could be one of those types of guys, just judging by his college play.
Yeah.
I want to see that kind of thing and see how it translates.
Yeah,
I don't need to see like crazy, huge plays. I just want to see him play confidently.
And there's guys that, for example, I don't have a player off the top of my head, but maybe you're not paying attention to the Toronto Raptors. And then you get there and you're watching the Raptors and you're like, oh, I forgot, who did they take? And then like it takes 2 minutes. You're like, ooh, who's that? Like, oh, that's their lottery pick. Okay. And then you're like, that guy's good. Or you just want to see someone stick out. And I think like when the Kings drafted Keegan Murray a couple years ago, and then you go to Summer League, like, look, that's a 4 pick. That's pretty high. There's expectations. You get out there and you're like, and Keegan's not a look at me player by any means, but you go, oh yeah, he's going to be pretty good. He didn't belong
there.
You're like,
second time he was way too good.
You're like, this is good. This is good. I mean, even go to last year where they didn't have Carter, and you're like, Keon Ellis is out here. You're like, wow, Keon's still playing in Summer League, but you're like, he's ready. Like Keon's going to get more minutes, and you can just see it. So that's the stuff in like Isaac Jones. The Kings, kept him around. Like last year, he was one of the guys that I watched. I'm like, yeah, there might be something here. And to Isaac Jones' credit, he kept working between the two-way, playing with the Kings, playing with Stockton, got better. The Kings organization has continued to work with him, and now they are in a spot here where he's back at Summer League. And so it's really, the parallel is to anybody that played sports in high school. Like your freshman year, you feel a certain way. You're like sophomore year, you're like, I'm just already more comfortable. And your junior, you're like, I got this. Senior, you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. Then these players jump to college. Oh man, my first year, this is new coach, new team. They're more comfortable their second year. The Kings have been drafting guys that have been around. Like Nick Clifford and Maxime Renaud are mature. They've played. Like I feel like they should be NBA ready. So I don't need them to dominate the Summer League, but I don't want them to disappear. I want them to go out there and you go, yep, that's one of the better players out here. That's one of the better players out here. I think that guy's going to contribute to the Kings this season. And that's what you're kind of looking for from the Summer League roster. Mason Jones is out there. And then now it's the other guys. Does John Elmore, does Dylan Cardwell, who's on a two-way, does Jabri Abdur-Rahim, Patrick McCaffrey, does some of these other guys go, hey, you know what? That's the Keon Ellis mode, and that's the Mason Jones and Isaac Jones. Like, let's keep them around. Let's continue to develop, and then maybe you got a spot on this team in the future. All right, when we come back, we kind of touched on the new Kings. They had a press conference. I was impressed with that. We'll let you hear some of the audio from Scott Perry, Doug Christie, Nick Clifford, Maxime Renaud. That's all coming your way next on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber. I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. For your Monday, it's nice and cool to start the day, thanks in part to that Delta breeze. As we head through the afternoon, that breeze will fade a little bit. Expect plenty of sunshine with seasonable highs today in the lower to mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's about time they
fixed that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
Made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice,
Don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Your wait is over. It's 4th of July sell-a-thon time at your California Ford dealer. Now, for a limited time only, get spectacular deals on an incredible selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the built Ford Tough F-150 truck, part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and counting, or the adventure-ready Ford Bronco and Bronco Sport, with GOAT modes to help you conquer the great outdoors. Plus, all military personnel, active, retired, and all veteran members of a military branch get an even bigger deal. It's the Ford 4th of July sell-a-thon. Now is the best time to buy your brand new Ford truck or SUV. But hurry, these offers all end July 7th. So go to your California Ford dealer today, based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales. Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, coming up 1 hour from now, KCRA's Sean Cunningham will be joining us. Kind of sprayed all fields with him. He was covering the Giants and the A's. He was out at the Kings press conference the other day, getting a chance to meet Maxime Renaud and Nick Clifford, Doug Christie, Scott Perry, all the four on the panel there. It was fun to be out there to see the media and watch these guys. We'll hear some of that audio coming up in just a moment. So Sean joins us in 1 hour. Another reminder, some of you are checking in at different times. We appreciate that too, by the way. You can follow us in all the different ways. Certainly like and subscribe when you're checking us out at YouTube or on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button when you're there. You can text us at 339-1140. Call us at 1-800-920-1140. All of our shows, when they're completed, end up being in podcast form back on sacktownsports.com. So make sure you check us out there. We truly do appreciate that. I want to remind everybody again about the trade that happened in the NBA in the last hour. The Los Angeles Clippers have acquired John Collins in a trade. Miami Heat gets Norman Powell. And the Utah Jazz get Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, and a second-round pick. Really good question on the text line before we got to get into some audio from the press conference. Made Anthony and I think during the break here. Don't try to make us think too much. But from the 916, Jason, who has more potential, year 2 Devin Carter or year 1 Nick Clifford? It's a really good question. Based on potential, Carter was picked higher. Doesn't mean that, draft order is kind of a weird thing, but he was a lottery pick back into the lottery. I like Clifford's versatility. Sometimes I lean more to the unknown, which is really, it's a funny phenomenon for a lot of people. It's like when you trade for a player that you've watched and you like, you probably have out of whack perception of the player. And then you get the player like, oh, I didn't realize they didn't do this. Or you find out the warts when you get the player. So we've seen Carter more, obviously, than Nick Clifford. So Clifford is more of the unknown. And to me, I'm intrigued by what he can be and what he can become as a King. But I don't know what that ultimately is until we see it. To say who has more potential, I guess I'm going to lean towards Clifford, but I don't know. It feels really close to me.
Yeah, it feels really close to me as well. I am excited to watch them both play. I know it's like both siding the question, but I love them both. Just watching them both play, I'm really excited to see what they can do. I don't think Devin Carter got a real chance last season. Obviously, he came in really late. I think he got more of a chance towards the end of the season, but it takes a while for any rookie to really like come into his own. And Nick Clifford just seems like a complete player already. And the Kings need someone like that. I know we're all sad about the Jake LaRavia loss.
Yeah.
But I think that Nick's size kind of makes up for that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I think that what is, like you said, the versatility of what he could be, I think could really help this team as a nice asset. But that's the fun. That's the fun of watching to see what they become.
Yeah, I'm excited for Carter more in Summer League than I am for Nick in Summer League, though, because I expect Carter to be able to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
If they go that direction, they might not go that direction. And Nick will just be more of what he did in college, I would assume. Best case scenario, he does amazing, but I think what I assume is going to happen, he'll just be more like what he did in college, which is still really impressive.
I think that's also important what you said. What direction they want to go. Let's remember the California Classic year 2 for Keegan, I guess, when they basically said you can't shoot too much. Like they wanted him to be aggressive, dribble, take the ball off, and I think he played game 1 or maybe game 2 and then didn't really play any more Summer League after that. But he went for he was going and he shot a lot and it was like, okay, this is what they're asking him to do. And Keegan did it. And you're like, all right, check, proven, move on from there.
Yeah,
so
he wasn't getting much out of that.
Yeah. And maybe it's, hey, Carter, we want 17, I don't know. I'm just throwing a number, be a facilitator. We want you to run this offense. All right. That's different than go get yours. And so, or fit into the flow so we'll see. I don't know. We'll find out more from what the organization wants of these guys. But what I did want to say is on Friday, no, that was the 4th. Maybe it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday was the press conference to meet the new Kings, Maxime Renaud and Nick Clifford. And Doug Christie, Scott Perry, they were all out there kind of ushering in the new Kings. It's always good to see that. It's, I sometimes forget about this because this is a once in a lifetime thing. You get drafted once, and this is a special thing in a player's life that, I've been to enough of them, and I don't want to say you get jaded, but it's like, all right, here's the next draft pick. But for them, it's like, this is a huge deal. I mean, you're coming out of college. It's been a goal. It's been a dream. This is what you're chasing. And now it's a reality that you are a Sacramento King or a Charlotte Hornet or a Miami Heat, whatever team drafts you. And that's where your career is beginning. You don't get that choice a lot or rarely. I mean, if you get to free agency, you can ultimately make a destination pick. For a guy like Maxime Renaud, I think he was happy to be here because this is closer to his college home of Stanford. He seemed really excited to be a King. So does Clifford with the opportunity and what's in front of him. But let's hear from what some of the guys had to say. We'll start with the new general manager, Scott Perry, on getting these 2 picks and kind of the value that they were for the Kings.
I'm extremely excited about it. Feel really good. Anytime you can go into a draft and come out with 2 guys where we ended up selecting that you had graded a lot higher, I think that's a great thing. And, my years of experience in the NBA, I've seen that pay off a lot. I've been a part of that being paid off before. And
I think that's important too. It doesn't mean the Kings won the draft, but there's something about that when you see draft picks, according to others in mock drafts, that were scheduled to go earlier and you get them. That's like he's termed the word value, Anthony. Again, it doesn't mean But if you get something for what you perceive to be less than, you feel like you won something.
Yeah, and it's good for the fans as well. I think that going into the draft, most fans were feeling pretty down. Like I remember
absolutely
the draft day. So the Kings social media team posted something that was like a guy running around their offices, something like that. And it was before they had traded into the first round. And all of the comments are like, we don't even draft today.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing?
Leave us alone.
Yeah. Like don't rub this in our face kind of thing. And I think that getting an A on social media for your draft might not mean much in the long run, but when the Kings fans are feeling so down about the way everything else is going, it feels good to have something go right, especially something that everyone can agree on. Even the people who don't want to tank still want these good draft picks to happen. And then the people who want to tank obviously just want to keep getting younger, and it's happening.
It's no different than the actual lottery. If you're in the lottery, it's like, oh, you have 1% chance of winning the lottery. But if you win it, you won something. That's a reward. Like, oh, I don't want to be in the play-in. But if you win the play-in game, you won something. You get to go to the playoffs. You want to feel like you're winning something. And it feels like they won on the value part of this. Now, that could all be thrown out. Everybody's opinions could be wrong on these players and go, yeah, we had them higher, but they were busts. We don't know this yet. You got to give them a chance to actually play. But I think you like that. And then the other part that Scott Perry would add is a reminder of what type of person, what type of player they're trying to add to the Kings.
As you've heard me say many a times since I've come here, it's important that we establish a real identity here, what it means to be a Sacramento Kings basketball player and what we're going to stand for. These two guys represent that. For your recollection, what that means, we want people that are competitive, tough, team-oriented, professional, accountable, and disciplined. These two young men have exhibited that not only in their play throughout their careers in college basketball, but in how they've conducted themselves as young men off of it. And that's very important to us.
I think those traits, as I was writing them down, tough, competitive, team-oriented, professional, accountable, and disciplined, a lot of them are interlocking traits, but I think they're important. And they're obviously important to Scott Perry. I think they're going to be important to Doug Christie, who's a former player, now coach, and has got his ideals as well. And I think when you start to look at the players they're looking to add, that's what they'll try to check as many of those boxes as possible. So that's at least kind of a thought into the lens of what Scott Perry's looking at. How about the head coach? Let's go next to Doug Christie, and let's hear him talk about that a little bit on how he feels these guys are what Doug's looking for as well, as far as guys that can embody Kings basketball.
Both of them exhibit everything that Scott has talked about, which for me is like, Scott could have came and said a lot of different things and then went and drafted somebody that didn't match that. So that is, he crushed that, because for us, it means so much more to make sure that these guys exhibit everything that Kings basketball is about.
Okay, so that they are in lockstep, at least seemingly right there. Let's go more from this press conference, more from Doug Christie. He was asked about each player. We'll start with his own comparison, because you heard people say this, Doug Christie and Nick Clifford. Some people have some comps between those two. Nick was even asked about that, and I credited him on draft night. He's like, look, I know Doug as a player, I do, but I'm going to be honest, I got to do even more research. And look, let's be fair. I mean, Doug played a while ago, and Nick was born in 2002, I think, 2003?
Something like that,
yeah. So it's been a while, but Doug Christie talked about when he's heard those comps between him and Nick Clifford.
A bit, because when I watch him, first of all, he's got hair, so that's well done, sir. But his ability to do so many different things as a coach helps you, because there's ways to keep him on the floor, because he can defend, he can rebound, he can shoot, he can handle the basketball. So that was an attribute of mine that I think helped me throughout my career. And, latching on defensively, I think for a young player early is probably the greatest way to earn yourself playing time, but his ability to do other things, grab a rebound, push the ball, he's not selfish, so willing to share the basketball. Minus the hair, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, like, there's breadcrumbs in there, and I hope the rookies were listening. Honestly, it's right there. Like, if you contribute defensively, coaches are going to play you. I mean, you're probably drafted for all your skills, all your abilities, but Kings fans, you know this too. Like, if there's a guy on this roster that's going to consistently help this team defensively, they will get minutes. I mean, that's how Keon Ellis got on the floor, and then it's like, let's not sleep on his offensive game. Keon Ellis can help this team as an offensive player too, but his true gem is his defense. Davion Mitchell, other guys, like, that's a rim protector. If the Kings have that, like, if Nick Clifford could come in and give them help guarding the 1, the 2, or the 3, and then give him some offense, he's going to get some run. And when a rookie, you go through the bumps and the bruises and the things that all rookies have to go through. The coach is telling you how you get on the floor. How about Maxime Reynaud? Doug Christie talked about him. Look at 7'1", the ability to put the ball on the floor, the ability to shoot the 3. Did a lot of good things, led the nation in double-doubles at Stanford. But how about playing as a pairing with Sabonis? Doug Christie was asked about that.
Listen, I think Max's talents speak for themselves first and foremost, but rebounding is never something that you don't need enough of. His size, his skill set, I think with Domas can mix in a big way, because Domas shot 40% from above the arc and 50 in the corner. Max, just watching him play, he can shoot. Pump fakes, puts the ball on the deck. So now you have playmakers in all the positions. So, and that's kind of what we want to play, is positionless basketball with the ability to move the ball around the court and share it. So I think seamless. Max is going to have to take his bumps and bruises as a rookie. That's just how it goes. I think that goes for both of them. But I know both of these guys have a burning desire to be great. So should be seamless and easy. But it's sunny outside today, and I'm saying that sitting here. But when it gets down there, we'll have to see.
All right. So those are some comments from Doug Christie, from Scott Perry. How about the actual new Kings? Nick Clifford, Maxime Reynaud. We'll start with Nick here. And a lot of things nowadays are, what position are you? Positionless basketball, yes, but what do you feel most comfortable? Here's the rookie's answer to that.
In those 3 positions, how do you feel comfortable about playing the point guard position, and have you played it over the course of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing point guard, so I'm comfortable in that position. But for me, the trajectory of my career, I've been able to play 1 through 3. And so I feel like I could play any of those positions. And like I said earlier, whatever I'm thrown into, I feel like I'm capable of going and doing. But just excited for the opportunity to, learn from, even guys coming in like Dennis Schroeder, and different teammates that I'm going to have. I'm going to be able to learn from those guys and get more comfortable in every position. But yeah, I'm comfortable playing, I'd say 1 through 3.
I'll say this, Nick and Maxime were both impressive in their answers and their maturity. I don't think that was lost on anybody. I think they had a really good press conference. And in that, I mean, again, it's more about what you actually do on the floor. But the Kings have drafted, kind of back to Scott Perry's criteria, is looking for disciplined, accountable, professional, team-oriented, competitive, tough. I think they check a lot of these boxes. Here's Nick talking about how he's still thirsty to learn from whoever he can.
Honestly, it's just finding my way, finding any way to impact the game, whether that's defense, rebounding, knocking down shots when I get them, and just trying to be impactful every time I step on the court. And whatever my role is, whatever, coach sees me as and throws me into, I feel like I can go do it at a high level. And, I just want to contribute to winning. That's my ultimate goal. So whatever that looks like, just got to approach every single day as an opportunity to get better and just learn from all the knowledge and guys I have around me.
All right, let's get one more from Nick here at least. This is a rare situation. Look, he got drafted. He was chasing this dream. And look, he's very, very appreciative of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Very thrilled and honored to be here. to be a part of the organization. I want to give a big shout out to, Scott and Doug for just giving me this opportunity. I'm super thankful and blessed to be a part of the organization and what they're trying to build. I can't be more ecstatic to be a part of something that I feel like I've worked my whole life to be a part of. And so super, super excited for the opportunity and just to get to work with these guys, Maxime, and just a bunch of great teammates. So we'll get to work here soon, but excited to be here and thankful for all of y'all's support as well, welcoming me to Sacramento.
Yeah, and I got one more actually here from him. He talked about what he's already heard from Kings fans and just the fans here of him, of this team, and what's it going to be like for him?
I mean, for me, I'd say I'm excited to light that beam. I'm definitely excited for that. But as well as that, I've heard so many great things about the fan base and just how they show you love, and I've already experienced it being here for 2 days. And just the love they show, the support, I'm just super excited to be a part of that and be a part of the community, honestly, getting to know everybody, all the people that come and support us. I want to get to know them and show that love right back to them.
So he's already pretty well versed on what it's like to be a King, what it's going to be like for him to be out there on a regular basis and how he's got support for a lot of people. How about Maxime Renault? Here's a guy who, I overheard some of his conversations he was having on some one-on-ones. He was like, man, this guy is just sharp. I mean, he's just at Stanford. I think he was astrophysicist or something. I mean, it's like, my goodness. But here he is talking about his opportunity to come to the Kings, to play with Neek and play for Doug Christie.
I'm just excited and blessed by the opportunity. I think that's what draft night is about, right? Making your dream come true. And then we talked with Nick, but I was extremely excited to get to the franchise that drafted him too, because we already saw each other in a workout earlier during the process, and we had this 45-minute conversation in the hot tub after practice. So it was good to see him drafted there too. It's close to what's home for me here, Stanford, and obviously Scott has a massive resume. Doug, former player here as well, so I think we're in good hands. It's just nothing but positive.
All right, so one more from Maxime Renault talking about some familiarity with what the Kings have run in the past, something they used to do at Stanford as well.
I mean, yeah, to your last point, I think someone I've looked up to for the past couple of years. I know at Stanford, especially my sophomore year, we based our offense a lot around the Kings and like the split action they used to have. So in that regard, yeah, he's a big inspiration for me.
He's talking about Sabonis as well. And so, this is where if you're these guys, you want to become a sponge and start learning from your coaches, from those in the organization, and certainly from other players. And that's where the cycle goes, Anthony. It's like, Sabonis went through that, being drafted and getting to a team and having expectations, and DeRozan has, and Levine and Monk. And it could be a guard, it could be a big, it could be Doug Christie's done it. Like, there's a lot of people that have gone through this. This is all new for these guys, but they'll get it. Keegan will help. I mean, everybody can help them over time here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really cool to hear like their thoughts on the Kings as largely positive. I know they're not going to say anything bad, but it seems like they're actually excited to be here.
Yeah.
Like, being familiar with an offense that was run 2 years ago is extremely valuable. And I don't know, I assume Scott knew that when he went into it. And that's so cool to hear that. If someone can come in here and fit into whatever we were running during the Beam team time, I know it'll be slightly different. It's a different team now, but that's extremely invaluable. That jump starts your training camp. You're not starting from scratch. You're not starting from, I saw you sometimes on TV, that kind of thing. Like, I saw sometimes whenever. He's really familiar with it, and I'm excited to see what both of them bring.
Yeah, these two guys feel like they're less projects, in more so that they're probably going to be somewhat ready to go. Now, they can always get stronger and get more familiar, and they're going to be playing against grown men, but it'll just take some reps. It'll take some experience, and they'll have some rookie mistakes, but you hope that they'll be able to adjust. I mean, they're really sharp guys. I mean, they're pretty mature. That's the other thing that you got from them. And even if they came in with one-word answers and were shy and didn't know what to say, in the end, all that matters is how they play on the court. But like I said earlier, I think that's a nice addition to their character is how it just seems like they are they come from good backgrounds. Looks like they're excited to be here. That's something else too, and I know Anthony said it, but it's so true. Like you want the people that want to be here, that want to contribute, that want to help this organization, even if it's short term. We know this is an industry that doesn't have people in the same spot for very long, but as of now, they are going to be important contributors to what the Sacramento Kings are trying to do. And I just thought, I was at that press conference. I was pretty telling. I thought it was pretty interesting stuff. I thought you guys would want to hear a little bit about what they had to say. All right, 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. If you want to continue to text. Also, if you can, on the YouTube chat, you can chime in there. But we're going to check in with William this morning. William, welcome to Sacktown Sports. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, J. Ross?
I'm doing great. Thanks for calling.
Well, I've been listening to you. I listen to you all the time, and I see we got a couple of good players. We watched them, the Stanford guy and this Nick guy. Bottom line, do you see the Kings getting into the playoffs? Not a play-in, the playoffs. Yes or no?
All right. Well, yes or no. If I'm answering today, I think it's easier to say no. That feels like an easier answer. And thank you for the call, William. But, it's not about today. And I think so. If you want to look at this as, I'll give you this as two options to look at it this way, and to try to predict where you think it's going to go. So the reason I referenced the Beam team from 2 years ago, remember that was the year prior. They had Sabonis, they had Fox, they had Barnes, they had Lyles, they had some of those same traits, and they weren't that good of a team. They weren't in the play-in. They missed the playoffs. The additions were Herter, Monk, Keegan Murray were the main kind of additions that offseason. And for whatever reason, that combination paired with everything else they had and Mike Brown, it all kind of worked, and they had their best season in years. Now, if we continue on that same line, I think where the Kings missed is they didn't really add in that next offseason. I think that's a window that they kind of missed out on an opportunity. So now we're all kind of down on the Kings going, they got the play in, but what's really here? It feels like a hodgepodge of talent. True, but I think they have more talent than people think, but I'm also not trying to confuse you and by saying like, look, they're right there. They're this close. Sabonis is a good player. LaVine is a good player. DeRozan's a good player. Monk's a good player. Keegan Murray's a good player. All of that should work better than it did. It didn't, and it wasn't a playoff team. So it doesn't mean, hey, just run it back and they'll figure it out. But does more Carter, Clifford, Schroeder, Maxime Reynaud, is this all going to be the right recipe? You're asking me today, I'm going to go with no. I'm going to say no. I don't think there'll be a playoff team today. The team's not finalized. Does Kuminga get into the mix? Do they move Monk? Do they move someone else? Do they trade DeRozan? Can they move LaVine? What do they do at the deadline? So there's a lot more moving parts. What happens to other teams? Is there a big injury to the Joker? Right? I think Denver's in. What if he gets hurt? That's a different. It's really hard to predict. I think the safer bet is to look at teams that we think are better than them, and I would say there's probably more than 6 that are playoff teams ahead of them. So that's why I would say safe would be they would not make it as a playoff team. But that's July 7th. We got a long way to go. We got to see what all this turns into. Appreciate the call. When we come back, we'll kind of go back into that too. We'll still remind you of the trade that happened today, 3-team trade in the NBA, and what we know so far regarding the Kings and what may be coming up. Still to come, who's hot, who's not, and streaking. Sean Cunningham at 9. Much more show straight ahead right here on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Avriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo.
Sponsored by Trex Racing Canes, Chicken Fingers, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Tickets at catpfest.com.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MP of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mbfstockton.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Shooting lower scores isn't always about changing your swing or equipment. Sometimes it's as simple as changing how you hit certain shots on the course. Molly Braid, a Golf Digest Best Young Teacher, sees a classic mistake on uphill chips. Players will grab a sand wedge thinking the high-lofted club will get the ball in the air, but instead, the ball pops too high and comes up short. Use a club with less loft, Braid says. Grab your pitching wedge, 9-iron, or even 8-iron, depending on how far you hit the ball. Set up with your hips and shoulders in line with the hill. The handle is going to come back, and there will be added loft to the club, so it will have more height, like a sand wedge. Your pitching wedge and your 9-iron don't have as much loft as your sand wedge, but when you're hitting from a steep uphill lie, your pitching wedge is going to produce sand wedge-like results. You'll get that high trajectory up and over the hill to land soft on the green. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
All right, text line continues to chime in at 916-339-1140. From the 916, both of the rookies sound like team-first guys. Our best chance to be good is to do it as a team. We don't have a superstar, so we have to be a super team. That's from Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Another one, 530, far more optimistic. My goodness, finally a guard that is not 6'2", 6'5". I'm calling it. Neek will be an All-Star someday. All right, well, he would be happy with that. Kings would be happy with that. Hopefully it's as a King. We shall see. And, you know, the other part I've kind of marveled at here, and it's become more and more of a reality, and I've started to pay closer and closer attention to it, is the fact that this really is a year-to-year deal. And maybe if we start looking at this as 2 years at a time, because it's getting, I mean, let's look at the Beam team. I mean, Mike Brown was the coach. He's gone. Now coaching the Knicks, by the way. Congrats, coach. Monty McNair helped construct the team. He's gone, assisting with the Clippers. Kevin Herter was a part of that Beam team. He's with the Bulls. De'Aaron Fox, a huge part of it with the Spurs. Harrison Barnes at the time was here. He's with the Spurs. Let's see. Davion Mitchell was part of it. He's gone to Toronto and now the Miami Heat. It moves fast. Now, will Malik Monk still be a part of this team? There's rumors about him maybe being on the move. Teams turnover. The turnover is crazy how fast it happens now.
Yeah, and especially on a team that's run by Scott Perry.
Yeah,
as we've talked about before. I think the last time he was in charge of a team, the whole entire team was gone within 2 years.
Yeah,
obviously different situation. I think that the Knicks made a full commitment to rebuilding in that moment when they got him onto the staff. Not really the same situation here, but still, like you move people around pretty often if you're not a championship team.
Yeah, and you probably have to some extent, and you got to get to a point where you say this is the exact portion. And I say core, but the core can constantly change because let's go to the Thunder. I'm sure the core included Josh Giddey at one point until it didn't.
Probably 2 years before.
Yeah, and he was the core. It was Giddey. It was going to be Holmgren. It's going to be SGA. Like, this is our core. Then Giddey kind of slides out. Jalen Williams slides in. It's like, that's our core. Now they're a championship team, and they want to play with that group as long as possible. It is going to be more and more rare, I think, unless these rules change that, but to get the Clay, Steph, and Draymond like trio to play for years together. It's going to be really difficult for teams to do that.
And it was rare in that situation too. I don't think anyone really expected to have a dynasty like that in the 2010s.
Yeah.
I think that everyone thought that time was already gone. At least I was under that impression.
Yeah.
I was pretty young, but still. I also want to point out, like, the Celtics. They changed. I guess they always had Tatum and Brown, but they changed everything almost on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
Like, there were staples to that team that people thought would be there forever. Marcus Smart.
Right.
People like that. It's just so weird. And now, obviously, they're going through another change, pretty significant, getting rid of Porzingis, getting rid of all those people. It's just, you can't really assume that this is the final form of this team, and we have no idea what this team will look like halfway through the season, much less the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and some teams make the change based on results. It's like, hey, look, this isn't working, and I get it. And it's like, how long do you wait? What's the right time? I don't know. Hopefully there's an instinct and a feel, because obviously, let's look at Phoenix, who I was poking fun at earlier in the show, saying, look, they were the highest payroll team, and they didn't even make the playoffs. But they did that to get Beal, Booker, and Durant because they thought that was going to work. I mean, they weren't going, hey, we want this to be bad. Of course, they thought that would be a trio that would be really unstoppable in the West. And, you know, at one point, you know, that was a team that got to the finals, but I wondered about losing Ayton and losing Paul over time if that would hurt them, and I think it did. And so you go with it as long as you can, and the Kings have some of the elements to still continue this thing in a way that could still be productive. But now, Anthony, they're in a spot where it's like, I really feel like anything is up for grabs. Like, I'm more of trying to keep Sabonis and making it work, but if there was a trade right now where they dealt Sabonis, I'd be like, all right, what do they get in return, and what are they kind of going to do here? I don't think there's a player on the team that I would say is untouchable, but I would be personally less willing to move someone like Ellis and Keegan just because of contract, not because they're the best players on the team.
Yeah, I think that right now what the Kings have been doing, or they're trying to establish an identity. And I think that they haven't defined it based on the players that are currently on the team. They've defined it based on the players that they're trying to get and the players that they just drafted, which puts them in a situation where they can do whatever they need to do with the current players.
Right.
And it'll help the team, hopefully, if the right deal comes along. I think that they've positioned themselves in a situation where if Sabonis were to be moved, I don't think that Scott Perry would make that trade if it didn't directly help with the establishment of the culture that he's trying to build.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal right now. Like with the Celtics before, the goal was they were always trying to win a championship, and they made aggressive moves to make to win a championship because they were always kind of good enough to do that. They just wanted better fit. Here, it's definitely a different goal.
Yeah, for sure. And I think everything they're also doing is kind of connected to a 2-year window. And what I mean by that is, like, Schroeder signed a 3-year deal, but the third year is such a partial guarantee. I think anything they commit to, Eubanks is 1 year coming in, Saric 1 year coming in. Like, nothing is going to restrict them from making further moves. So I think they're trying to have the flexibility, trying to be as competitive as possible, and then strike when there's a move there that seems to make sense to fit. What were the traits that he said that I had earlier? Toughness, competitiveness, team, kind of a team first guy, professional, accountable, disciplined. I think everything they're going to do going forward is going to try to match those traits.
Yeah, and I think that it's really cool to see the kind of continuity between him and Doug Christie. I think that watching last season and listening to every post-game press conference from Doug Christie in this room, I could tell that he was just like, we should have won these games. And there just wasn't that cohesion with that team. I don't think that they had the identity that he wanted. Obviously, he came in late. And I'm so happy that the Kings are starting this journey of trying to build a different team with the right foundation. What does Doug want? Like, what is Doug going to coach? We can get these players who are Doug guys, and we will put them all together, and hopefully it works.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really solid way to start this, especially being as flexible as possible. And Scott's made it abundantly clear that he is being flexible with everyone.
Yeah, and let's also realize, and they know this, I mean, Doug's been around this organization forever, and Scott Perry was here before, and is, he knows what people say around the league. Their jobs here in Sacramento haven't lasted a long time. So Doug's trying to win as many games as possible for job security. Scott Perry also is probably thinking, look, if it's not going to work, I want it to be with my players, right? The guys I put in. I mean, that's what I would also want. I'm not saying I have to get rid of everybody today, but if it's, man, that team kind of never worked and it was never his group, I think you got to get it to where it kind of matches Doug, like you said, kind of matches Scott Perry's feel. That gives you your best chance. I'm sure Monty had some of that, though, and sometimes there were good times, sometimes there weren't. This isn't easy to do. It's shown that it's not easy, and the Kings have proven that it's not easy. But I also think with the odds that so many teams continue to make the playoffs, it's hard to miss it as many times as the Kings have done that. And they've made their mistakes to do it. So now they're going to try to limit those and be the best version of the team that they can be. But it's also incomplete. We're still waiting to see, are they going to be able to trade somebody? Are they going to be able to make another acquisition here? I think the free agency stuff for the most part may be done. But what interest is there? And is everything kind of on hold? This trade that happened today, if you missed it, was a Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love going to the Utah Jazz in a second-round pick, Norman Powell going to the Miami Heat, and John Collins going to the Los Angeles Clippers. This trade wasn't one I had heard about or being talked about. It's kind of tougher and tougher to move guys, but it can be done, and we'll see what kind of market is still out there for any of those guys that the Kings might be looking to move. All right, when we come back, we're going to see who's hot. We'll find out who's not. And we're going to go streaking. That is next on Sacktown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco! Bob George went up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ever find a deal so good you think, should I tell my friends or keep it to myself? That's Kohl's Summer Cyber Deals. Styles for sunny days, home favorites for your space, and more. All at prices you'll love. Plus, earn Kohl's Cash. Discover new deals daily and get free shipping. These deals are too good not to share. Once you've stocked up first. Shop Kohl's Summer Cyber Deals now. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offers end July 10th. Com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but has been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 77 years. Look for made-in-America brands like Stickley, Bassett, Stanton, Trailway, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sales event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
It's the 4th of July Sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford and the final days of employee pricing, plus low finance rates with approved credit. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford, folsomlakeford.com.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
And what's not?
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
And before we get to who's hot and who's not, Kyle was just in here. He'll be here with Alan Stiles in the next show, but he was talking about the ice cream. Does the ice cream man still show up? Do you have any ice cream guys in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
The truck and everything?
Yeah, there's a guy.
Where's it gone? I don't ever see him.
You guys know Alan?
Not much. I don't see him much anymore.
Oh, wow.
It used to be a thing. Way more than it is now.
I mean, I guess at Lincoln moment, is this just like I live in a smaller place? I don't know.
But I feel like they should be in every neighborhood. Just hear this tune, and then I'd run out and I don't even know what an ice cream is anymore. It's an ice cream truck, but it's probably all. They probably don't even take cash, right? It's probably all cards now.
No, they take cash. At least the one by me. I don't know.
What's an ice cream run? When was the last time you stopped the ice cream truck for an ice cream?
not out there. Maybe I'm the reason why they're going to disappear.
You're not out. You hear the sounds of the ice cream man. You resist.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I might not be supporting small businesses right now. That might have been a moment. That's bad.
Is there a good reputation or bad reputation for the ice cream man?
In Lincoln or in general?
Sure, in general. Just like your thoughts. Like if I told you today I'm quitting, I'm buying an ice cream van truck. I'm buying a truck. The start of the ice cream van. I'm just going to patrol Sacramento. What would your thoughts be?
I think saying patrol Sacramento
is wrong term.
I think
where are the kids?
That makes it a little bit worse.
Is that creepier?
Yeah, saying patrol. Yeah.
Delivering treats to the world to make them happy.
I don't know. I feel like maybe talking about it's just weird. You kind of just have to
I feel
do
like
it.
There's a bad reputation, but why? It's ice cream. It's wonderful. Who doesn't like ice cream?
No, I would never feel weird about seeing someone in an ice cream van. I think that someone talking about it, yeah, I think it makes me feel weird.
Where are the kids? I've got ice cream. Why is this guy patrolling? All right. Maybe my wording's wrong, but I'm disappointed. Next time the ice cream man shows up, I hope you're there. Or a woman.
Yeah, I might go out there.
Yeah. All right. Who's hot?
Who's hot?
Besides me and patrolling.
Sutter Health Park.
Okay.
Yeah, the highest attended game ever on Friday.
Woo!
12,322 people. Highest attended regular season game of the River Cats or the A's in that park.
Were they there for the fireworks?
Maybe.
On the field and off.
Maybe.
I heard it was quite a show, and I saw a lot of the social media pictures from that. I'm like, oh, that looks great. Bridge, I mean, it's some good shots. Well, that's good. I'm glad there's a big crowd. I know they had a big crowd at a couple other games, the opener, the Yankee series, but Giants, we expected it. Now it's all downhill from here on out. No, Get out there if you haven't been. It's fun. It's fun. All right, who is not?
The A's.
Oh,
again.
Come on. We can't have two good stories. What's going on?
All time, the A's versus the Giants. The series is now tied 77-77.
Okay.
The first time the A's haven't led since 2005.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Giants are on a heater.
Yeah. So the next time they play will be the tie-breaking game.
This year might be, I think it was 5-1 A's. I'm sorry, Giants. Yeah, the Giants swept them in San Francisco, and then this was, they took 2 of 3. So, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, A's, get it together.
I agree.
Get it together. Let me give a standings update for both teams. Let's see. The Giants now, after taking 2 of 3, are 7 back, tied with the Padres for second in the West. Dodgers still in first. In the wild card race, the Giants are currently tied for the Padres for the last spot. Just 1 game up on the Cards, 2.5 up on the Reds. Diamondbacks not far behind. As far as the A's go, still in last in the West, but only 19 back.
Only.
Oof. Astros, I did not realize how hot they were. They're 20 games above 500. And in the wild card, let's see how far it would take the A's to go. They are second to last in the wild card race, but they're only 12 out. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance.
A's to the top.
A's to the top. Let's see. 37-55. They could win out. Off day today. This is actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, their first 3-series homestand. Everything's been kind of 2 series road, 2 series home, 2 series, it's like a week. But they played Friday, Saturday, Sunday home with the Giants. Off today. Then the Braves come in. And then after that, this weekend might be the Angels, maybe? Let me look it up here. But yeah, they actually get some time at home, which will be good for them before they go into the All-Star break. Yeah, so it's the Braves starting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Following that, it's Toronto, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then the All-Star break. Okay. Well, get on out there. Enjoy it. Have you been out yet?
I have not. I don't know. Lincoln's kind of far.
Oh, my goodness. Now we're going. Isn't Oakland or San Francisco much further?
I lived in San Francisco, and I went to a bunch of games.
See? Well, you got a team somewhat in your town.
Yeah, I know. I'll make it out there at some point. I'm also still on the weird, I feel weird about doing it. I know too many people who are like, yeah, I'll end up going at some point.
Do you have a favorite team? in
It's
baseball?
the Giants.
The Giants. So,
Yeah.
like, this should have been your weekend to go.
It should have been,
Your
but
team.
then you look at the prices and it's like, okay.
This was the one weekend where the prices were actually. So that's the other part about A's games. Like, it got out of hand initially. Like, oh, tickets, they'll be sold out every night. Ticket prices are crazy. Yeah, ticket prices are crazy the other way. Like, they're super affordable.
Yeah, they were really cheap.
But this was the one time I kept seeing people post. I'm like, oh, I had to pay this. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So there was a demand for the Giants game.
Of course.
Yeah. But, like, tomorrow, I'm guessing for the Braves, probably back down to very, very affordable.
Yeah, when I have a free day, I'll end up going. Get it for cheap,
For cheap. All right, let's do it. It's time to go streaking.
It's time to go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Who is the Nostradamus of MLB? Who can keep the streak going? It's time to go streaking.
What the hell are you doing? We're streaking.
All right, let's go streaking. Let's update everybody. Dave, even while on vacation, is participating. Chris will be back tomorrow. He is participating. So we left you on Friday. I was on a 0-game hitting streak. Kyle, who was participating for a couple days, was on a 2-game hitting streak. Chris was on a 1-game hitting streak, but Carmichael Dave, 8 consecutive days with a hit. So we'll see how we all did. This is going back to Wednesday's show. So we were off for a couple of days. We'll start with Chris Verlaud. Chris Verlaud had his Jackson Holiday ban. He could not pick him again until July. He had a 1-game hitting streak. He took Jackson Holiday, who got up 4 times. And let's see how he did. Here we go. Where's the drill? Chris got a hit with Jackson Holiday. He is now at 2. Kyle was at 2. He had Jackson Holiday. He had Dane Myers. And then he took a member of the Athletics who was playing a day game that day, right? Really, when the show was going on. He took Nick Kurtz. Nick Kurtz got up 4 times. Nick Kurtz, 0 hits.
Oh, you suck.
Sorry, Kyle.
It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
I was at 0, trying to get to 1, and I took guest of the show from your Athletics, Max Muncy, high school teammate of Jacob Wilson. Max was a fun interview. If you missed it, go back to Sacktown Sports. You could see him as well. He was with us, joined us on the show. Great to have him on. I said, I'm picking him. He's playing today. Go get me a hit, Max. And Max said, you know what? I'm going to get up 3 times. I'm going to get you a hit. I'm going to get you a home run and an RBI. So I got a hit with Max Muncy. But look, these are small streaks. Everybody's about Carmichael Dave with his 8-game hitting streak, trying to get to 9. He took from the New York Yankees, Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt got up 5 times. And Goldschmidt, 2 hits. Oh, my goodness. Carmichael Dave is now at 9. I'm at 1. Chris is at 2. Anthony's going to be participating today. So here we go. I've got their picks. They have sent them in. Chris is taking Ellie De La Cruz. Carmichael Dave is taking... Oh, you know what? I got to get Dave to submit a new one. I knew he would do this. He took Jacob Wilson, who's off today. And then he said, if not him, Bobby Witt. He took Bobby Witt. So I'll have an update for Dave's in a minute. I am going to take, or Anthony, do you have yours ready for today?
I am going to take Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers. And I'm going to take Shohei Ohtani. So there we go. We have selected ours. I'll get you Dave's before long. He's listening in. He'll know. He'll send me someone very, very shortly. All right, when we come back, 9 o'clock hour begins. We got What's on Deck. We got Crosstalk. But first, Sean Cunningham will help us with what's going on with the Kings, the latest with Kuminga. He was also at the A's and Giants series. We'll cover all sorts of things with Sean Cunningham from KCRA next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise Guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Need a new water heater? Call Bell Brothers. Need a free plumbing estimate? Call Bell Brothers. Have a clogged drain? Call Bell Brothers and we'll unclog it for only $67, plus free camera inspection, valued at $250. We don't guess at plumbing and drain problems. We used advanced camera inspections and diagnostics. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. The price we quote is the price you pay. With more technicians, more trucks, and more experience, we get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
Your wait is over. It's 4th of July Sell-a-thon time at your California Ford dealer. Now, for a limited time only, get spectacular deals on an incredible selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the built Ford Tough F-150 truck, part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and counting, or the adventure-ready Ford Bronco and Bronco Sport, with GOAT modes to help you conquer the great outdoors. Plus, all military personnel, active, retired, and all veteran members of a military branch get an even bigger deal. It's the Ford 4th of July Sell-a-thon. Now is the best time to buy your brand new Ford truck or SUV. But hurry, these offers all end July 7th. So go to your California Ford dealer today. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Skeeter here. Got a question. What's small and dark with white bands on its legs and bites during the day?
Mosquitoes. Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles, but these are two new types of day-biting mosquitoes. They're invading our area and becoming a big problem.
And they can be dangerous.
But we're on it, so when you see them, report it at fightthebite.net. In the meantime, use insect repellent and drain stagnant water around your yard.
We're here to help with these day-biting mosquitoes.
Visit us at fightthebite.net.
This summer, give your kids a reason to smile, brightly. At Kids Care Dental, we make dental visits fun with a kid-friendly team, easy to schedule appointments, and expert doctors who really care.
Whether it's a checkup, a cleaning, or their very first visit, we've got you covered. We accept most insurances, and we're always ready when your schedule gets hectic.
Smiles grow here. Book online in minutes at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com. Kids Care Dental, where healthy teeth make happy kids.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, a couple of updates here for you before we get to Sean Cunningham to start the 9 o'clock hour. Dave is going to go with Freddie Freeman. He's sent over. He goes, I couldn't have taken Freeman, Betts, and Ohtani, all of them, and go, you took the other two. So he gets Freeman, just like you.
Popular.
And then I don't know if this is true, but we were talking about the ice cream man. Anthony, how about this text from the 530? Ice cream man, ice cream guys don't go into super expensive neighborhoods anymore. LOL. Move to a poor neighborhood and you'll see them a ton. I don't think that's true. And I'm not in a super expensive neighborhood, but
yeah, I don't know.
I used to just see the ice cream man more. I don't know where they are, but you say you see him in Lincoln. Let's see if our next guest sees him and would go to the ice cream man. Sean Cunningham, friend of the show, just a friend. He's a friend of Brent. KCRA, Channel 3, sports reporter. Sean, do you see the ice cream man recently or much anymore?
Never, no, ever. Like I think the last time I saw an ice cream man, I was living in Rancho Cordova, and I was like 12 years old. No, I was that was not that young. I not that old. I was actually like 9 years old when we got out of Rancho Cordova.
That's the last time.
Well, in like my own neighborhood, you know what I mean? Like where one has like circled by and played that stupid little chime and tried to prey on kids and adults alike to try to. I think they just go to parks now. I don't think they go door to door or like down the streets anymore. I don't know. I think they go to like common places, like open places like parks and recreational areas. I see them like there's a I don't know why it comes to mind, but almost like a food truck, you would see them outside of like public pool areas like in Elk Grove and stuff like that.
Okay. But if you heard the chime in your neighborhood today, I mean,
run for your life.
Oh, you're not going to run. You're not going to run for the truck?
No, absolutely not.
All
no,
right.
that's just me. I trust the people like Ben and Jerry's maybe, but
I guess they've done it successfully. You know what's happening in around my neighborhood, I should say more. And I just seen it more. It's just people like on corners now that are like, have carts and there's like meat and people are lining up to buy. I'm like, what is happening here? Little pop-ups that are happening a lot now.
Now that, Jason, that is fantastic. Yes.
Well, okay.
Especially if you're
you endorse that?
Absolutely. 100%. 150%, which isn't possible. But yeah, especially if you go to like Northgate area, or there's plenty on like Stockton Boulevard, in a petition to other things, other crazy sites. But yeah, I would absolutely trust those.
Like the hanging meat that's out there in the open air exposed.
Yes.
That's
Have
okay.
you ever? Can I take you to one day? Have you never been? You've never been?
No. I mean, yes, you can. I've never been. I'm not saying no, you can't take me.
Yeah, no. So what I would recommend is not just approaching any random one. Certainly go by word of mouth, which I think for those stands travels well. Like you work with people, by the way, who would lead you in the right direction.
I know that.
To trust. And by the way, anybody who raves about a certain one is never going to be wrong ever.
Okay. What's the best thing you've eaten at one of those things?
To be honest, it was in recent memory, it was actually outside of our hotel. We went down after Mike Brown was fired, when I was working at a different establishment, me and my coworker, and right after that game, we there was the Kings-Lakers game, and we just had to grab something to eat really quickly, and we were on a little bit of a tight window, and there was literally one that was popped up across the hotel, and we stayed right by Staples, and I trusted it, went into it blind. Fantastic, unbelievable, unreal, so good.
So you endorse it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to take me one day.
I shall.
It'll be a date.
Yes.
We got lots to cover here. We're going to get into some summer league, some Kings news. I'll at least start because I know you were out at the series this weekend in West Sacramento between the A's and the Giants, and I was saying earlier, Sean, I mean, as far as Sacramento baseball, I thought it was a success. Now, if you're a Giants fan, you win 2 of 3. I'm not even talking per team per se, but the images, the way it looked, I've been at a ton of games. You've been at a ton of games. It just looked like, I mean, it's about as good as we can get under the circumstances here in Sacramento.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you look around, it was festive. I mean, it went beyond the ballpark. I mean, one of the things I love doing, I get there pretty early. That's the dumb part about covering baseball is, your manager speaking like 4 hours before the game, and you have open clubhouse. It's just an all day thing that's unnecessary, but it's just such a cool vibe. Like if you're driving across the Tower Bridge, you see all the people who are walking over. It reminds you of like, oh, you got big league baseball in town. Like they're not doing that for the River Cats. They're doing it. And yeah, you see a lot of like, visiting jerseys typically, even if the Giants aren't in town, but yeah, that was very much a Giants crowd. And rightfully so. I mean, they made this an appointment destination to be at, to be able to support their team. And both teams kind of scuffling, certainly the A's and the Giants all of a sudden just drop off the face of the earth for these past 3 weeks after flirting with first place. But both teams really needed it, especially, with the All-Star announcements kind of hovering around. And it was just such a cool environment, especially on, I was there all 3 days. I left early on Saturday, but the 4th of July one I thought was the best. I saw the fireworks. I dipped out of there, but being able to come in on Saturday, see the Kings rookies kind of get their welcome and throw out some first pitches that were pretty wild to say the least. I dipped to go to a concert that night. I was awful early, but then being there last night too, it was probably the lowest of the attended games. And you think about it, like you were there for the Yankees series, and 2 of the 3 of those games were the highest attended. The Mother's Day was the highest attended in Sutter Health Park for an A's game this season, and the Friday and Saturday ended up being the biggest draw. But Friday had topped it, and then Saturday topped Friday's game, and just electric. And then what Logan Webb was able to do in his hometown, and then the next day get an All-Star nod, just really, really kind of special stuff. And it was kind of cool seeing Logan talk about finding out becoming an All-Star while playing Granite Bay Country Golf Club for the first time with his dad and his brother, and getting to share that moment. It was so cool.
Yeah, I saw that you talked to him, and I think about him this year. I mean, I think he's having another awesome year. He's just, I mean, he really consistently is not getting the run support. How's he feeling about their situation? Because I mean, to me, he is the giant. He is kind of the face of that team, and they're winning, but probably should be winning a little bit more if their offense was better. How's he feeling about his situation?
Pretty good. I mean, look, I think he keeps in mind, he's able to kind of separate the two. Like, look, Justin Verlander has been so bad since coming to the Giants, but he talks about what an influence he is, not only to himself, but really to the pitching staff. And like, it's something that really can't be explained. Like, we always talk about, like, we're trying to build a Kings roster or whatever, and go get this guy, go get that way. And it's you can never really have that true analytic. There's an analytic for everything, but there's not one for chemistry yet. And what he talks so glowingly about what Verlander has brought to him, and just the influence that he's had, and certainly the path that Robbie Ray has had coming back from Tommy John and working his way back to being an All-Star. And this year, Logan being able to share his All-Star appearance with 2 other pitchers. I mean, Randy Rodriguez is incredible. And what he's doing out of the bullpen is, and to be able to just share that with Robbie Ray, Randy Rodriguez, the influence Verlander's had. I mean, he's completely at peace. Like, he recognizes that, they have some scuffles and sometimes he doesn't get the run support, but as Robbie Ray said yesterday, it's like, no, everyone expects him to go out there and pitch 9 innings. I mean, he's been that dominant. And I think there's a little bit of a lingering memory from last year. Logan Webb gets his first All-Star nod, and it didn't go well. And so he says if he gets to pitch this year, he gets a shot at redemption, and it's in a ballpark that he's got a lot more familiarity with in Atlanta, where another place that he has a lot more support and friends in the area, and his family will certainly be there. So I think a lot of that matters. And but it's what's funny is talking to him, it's like, you got all these accolades, you just pitched a gem on Saturday, you get a much needed win after you got shelled on July 4th, and here you are an All-Star, and all he wants to ever talk about is the Kings. He's the biggest Kings fan. And every time he sees me, it's like, hey, are we getting Kuminga?
Right.
It's always something like that. And it dates back to high school. I mean, when he was a football player for the Rockland Thunder, I didn't even know him as a baseball player at that time. He was a backup quarterback. And I remember going to a practice, and just, he's there on the sideline. I wasn't paying him any attention, and I'm setting up my camera to talk to the head coach, Greg Benzel at the time, and one of the other guys. And he just he's sitting on the ground, and I think he was hurt. I don't remember what the injury is. And he just kind of looks up with me with that squinted face, and he just goes, hey, the Kings going to be any good this year? I start laughing, and I'm just like, no, probably not. And they weren't. And he understood, but he's just a diehard Kings fan.
Well, let's go there. I know you were at the press conference the other day. Saw you out there to introduce the new Kings. That was their draft choices, in Nick Clifford and Maxime Reynaud. Just curious your thoughts on the picks, on how you think they may be able to help this squad this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like, you always wonder where the Kings are and how a draft pick can certainly help them. And I'd always argue that they won't. A young player takes time to develop, and even if you're getting a player that's longer in the tooth, like these guys are, they're going to have time to develop. And how can they help a good team? And then you look at a team like the Thunder, who have young pieces all over the place, and their development has happened rather quickly. Not to say that it'll have the same effect, but when talking to these guys, they're very impressive. I mean, I think personality-wise, their charm, their wit, certainly their smarts. I mean, Maxime Reynaud is just brilliant. He's just brilliant. He's very, very smart. And it leaps off the page. I think people hear that and they go, okay, great. What do they do on the basketball floor? But getting to know some of these guys, like with Neat Clifford, for example, like personality, like I wouldn't say he's in the Tyrese Halliburton category quite yet, because he was a Hall of Famer in the media game and being just a human being right out of the gate. But he's kind of dipping a toe in there. Like you can see instantly just how infectious his personality is, how warm and inviting he is. I mean, this guy makes time for everybody. And you're kind of like, you're thinking to yourself as a media member, great, don't change. Like keep that same energy. But that's not just with the energy with the media. You see it with the fans. I mean, he stops for everybody. He gives everybody time. So it's really cool. It'll be fun to see how that kind of develops along the way. But from a pure basketball standpoint, like I didn't know anything about Neat Clifford, really. I mean, doing a little bit of homework before the draft, seeing his name, didn't really think much that would be a possibility. I know among names that they had liked going in there, that name I had heard a little bit, but it wasn't something that I ever thought was going to be a realistic possibility. And there it is. I mean, they land him, and learning a lot about him and people around him as coaches, people who have just, talk about what he is. It's like they talk so much glowingly about the adversity he's faced and some of the things he's had to overcome, and how, it didn't go so well at Colorado, but he was, loyal and wanted to stay close to home. And then he was ready to go to Loyola Chicago. He was ready to go to Stanford. And then, one of the teams that initially drafted him and the coach recruited him. And then the team that he goes to Colorado State, with having that loyalty and wanting to be able to shine and kind of overcome some adversity and having opportunity in the age of NIL, having, being there for, being a senior is just so rare. So I kind of like what's happening. You see when he plays, and just the leaps that he's taken, being a point guard when he was younger to all of a sudden being more of a wing player. Loving the fact that he looks at himself as being able to be a multi-positional type player, being able to guard that way, and then everyone raving about his playmaking ability. I mean, Jason, you hear that, and then it's not even mentioning just the rebounding, how elite that has been for him. So I think a lot of that will translate well. Reynaud is just a guy, I mean, being 7 foot and you can stretch the floor that way, awesome. I mean, you get that rim protection, and you can kind of see it. I mean, people are raving about him. So I think there's something to be excited about. But, certainly the Kings have a lot of offseason left.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to get into some more of that as we're talking with Sean Cunningham from KCRA, Channel 3 sports reporter there. Sean, about a couple days, the Kings will be heading to Vegas. So Reynaud's going there, Neat Clifford, but it's also Isaac Jones, Mason Jones, Devin Carter, Cardwell, some guys that are going to be, opportunities to, get more eyeballs on them to see what they could do. What are some of your expectations, or what would you like to see from that group coming up here in a few days?
Yeah, I think before going down there, it's the thing that I'm kind of hyper focused on, aside from the two rookies, is honestly Devin Carter.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get moved, I want to see. He didn't get this opportunity last year because of injury, and of course, he had some flashes during the regular season. And I think if you go to social media, they're not kind to Devin Carter. But I still think that he has a lot to offer. I think there's still a lot of mystery that surrounds his game, and just an absolute competitor. And so I want to see how that translates to haphazard basketball, like summer league, where everyone's just trying to make a name for themselves, trying to catch attention. Both ends up being good and bad, but in a team environment where there's going to be a lot of kind of, I don't want to say household names, but familiar names to Kings fans. You rattled off a few there, but even last year's rookie two-way Isaiah Crawford, I think has a big opportunity here, because I think a lot of what he does has flown under the radar. He hasn't really had opportunity yet. He's so young still. And I think his game, I don't mean his age so much. I really mean his game just needs a maturing, a seasoning, if you will, and had a chance really recently. They're in the break right now, but the oldest Sacramento Summer League, they call it the Sac Pro-Am. It's a Sac Pro Developmental League. It happens out in Elk Grove off of Bighorn. You get on Bighorn, you keep driving like you're heading to Galt. You'll find it. There's a place called Fortune High School, something like that. And, Isaiah Jones and Isaiah Crawford have shown up to prepare for Summer League out there. Once Summer League is over, teams will begin playing again. I'm not sure that you'll see some Kings players out there, but we've even seen Keon Ellis show up to compete in that summer league out there. So it dates back to the 80s. Used to have guys like LaSalle Thompson, Mitch Richmond, just a ton of old Kings that would used to play in this thing. So you never know who's going to pop up, but it's fun to see a lot of G leaguers and overseas players, and these guys show up and they've played well. It's a confidence builder. They try to work on some things, and one of the things you see is Isaac trying to shoot the three more, Isaiah working on a lot of ball handling stuff. So trying to hone in their games and work on their craft. And I think there's a lot of storylines heading into Vegas, and I'm looking forward to that.
How about what the Kings have done so far through free agency and or the / trade? So they've added Saric via the trade. Eubanks is just an additional kind of big body that they could have. And then Schroeder is the biggest piece as far as the free agent point guard signing. Not a huge splash there by any means, some out of necessity, but what do you think about what they did as Scott Perry's moves there?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, they found their point guard. I think Kings fans are going through this roller coaster right now on will they or won't they trade Malik Monk, and are they in on Jonathan Kuminga? And I don't really have anything to add on any of those. I mean, certainly anything is possible at this point, but with Kuminga, the last I had heard on that is that they were nowhere close. So I think that's kind of bared fruit as we get into Monday. You've got the moratorium lifting, people are signing contracts. You have 7-team trade in the NBA. We hadn't seen that before. I think some of those things tend to hold up a lot of the activity that tend to trickle down. And I think Sacramento is in on a lot of things right now. I still think that, Russell Westbrook is something that could be a possibility. Obviously has a tie to Scott Perry from when he was in Seattle under Sam Presti at the time. I don't know if I agree with a lot of them. I kind of see what they're trying to do. But certainly there's a lot of concerns with all these teams about cap flexibility, remaining under the luxury tax, aprons, all that stuff. And those things can be really difficult for fans to kind of hear about, because I think right away you're thinking about your team as them being cheap. And I assure you that's not the case, because everybody is trying to do the same things. And what I'd always argue is it's one thing to be a luxury tax team when you're a top 4 team in the Western Conference and you're competing for something. It's another thing to be in that when you're a mediocre or even a bad team. So a lot of decision making has to go into all these things, and I think you're going to see more and more until I think 2011 when the collective bargaining, 2031 when the collective bargaining deal can be renegotiated. I think you're going to see a lot of these types of seasons where there's just so much movement, so much activity, and teams really trying to make trades that really just free them up money to where that they can operate going forward. I think the Kings have done an interesting job. I wouldn't rave about the offseason they have, but I'd also, remind people it's July 7th. There's so much offseason left. And, I think they're in a really unique position to where, they've chosen not to hit a complete reset button. They want to remain competitive. I think that's admirable to a degree. But I think just one move here or there can obviously get them back in the conversation. The landscape in the NBA changes very, very quickly. And I'd say right now it's looking like a discombobulated team. At least they found their point guard, but there you can see what the vision with Scott Perry's trying to do. He wants to add two-way players, competitive players, guys that you look on other teams and you go, oh yeah, why don't the Kings have somebody like that? And so there could be some tough decisions along the way, but I think I see the vision, and I think they're on the right track.
You mentioned you didn't have anything really new on Kuminga, and I've heard some of the same stuff that I don't even want to say not as far along, just maybe it's kind of nowhere at the moment. But if we look at Kuminga versus Westbrook, different players, but if those are options for the Kings, what's the better? Obviously, Kuminga would come at a price of some other players. Westbrook could be just an addition, but what do you think would be better for the Kings of those two choices?
Honestly, that's a tough one. That's a tough question for me to answer, because I think just on its surface, I mean, one's on its way out and the other one's got a blossoming future. And Kuminga has so much talent that easily, in my opinion, gets here, and he's probably the second most talented, if not the most talented player on the team. That's not to say he's the best player. I don't want people to hear that differently than what's intended, but I mean, he's got such a high ceiling. The thing to me is, in talking to people close to Kuminga and obviously around the Warriors and other teams forever, it's like Kuminga has a a vision in mind. I mean, if he comes to Sacramento, 5 years under his belt, he's still younger than all the rookies that they drafted. He's still younger than Devin Carter. Like this guy is ready for his moment. He's in control to a degree. I mean, restricted free agency is just awful for anybody, even the teams, I would argue. I mean, even if you have a team that wants to sign you, which is rare these days because no one has the money to do it, and commit to you, all of a sudden your team can decide whether or not they want to keep you or match or whatever. And at this point, it almost makes more sense for him to go back to the Warriors. But I think from Kuminga's standpoint and from what I've been told, this guy is absolutely looking for something that can be built around him, where he's featured prominently within that offense and on that team. And that's what he wants. And I think coming to Sacramento as they're currently built doesn't really jive here. I mean, you've got obviously some big time scorers who need the ball quite often. And even if Kuminga represents your future for the time being, that's how they're set up. So Westbrook might make more sense in the short term, but I think for them to be successful, I honestly feel that Kuminga is a move that they'd almost have to do in comparison to Russ, who's kind of on his way out and just kind of maybe looking to get somebody into the playoffs and maybe see what happens in a 7-game series. One thing with Russ, though, I mean, he played so well with Denver last year. He really played really well with someone like Nikola Jokic. Domantas Sabonis is a similar type of presence on the floor, and that could bode well for them if they get him. But I just personally, I don't think the Kings need Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're able to get in on a talent like Kuminga and represent something where you're rebuilding into a different era, looking on something beyond 2027, because if you look at their books, like they hit 2027, everything falls off a cliff. That wouldn't happen if you have somebody like Kuminga. That wouldn't happen if you're extending Keon Ellis or extending Keegan Murray later this summer. So he kind of represents something fresh and new going forward. And I think if they do that in the comparison of him or Russ, I'd go Kuminga.
All right, last one for you, Sean. Again, great spending time with Sean Cunningham from KCRA Channel 3. All right, it feels like between Keon, Malik, I guess Carter, Levine, DeRozan, like I guess Keegan even, they got to move at least 1 to 2 of those. And I'm not saying that's super easy to do. It feels like it's a little bit quiet right now. I mean, don't you see that there's going to be some trades here, at least with the Kings? Don't you feel?
Yeah, I've always felt that trades for this offseason, even before they get into the season, I think is going to be where they do most of their damage, most of their rebuilding. I think, especially when you're holding on to some of these trade exceptions, these literal coupons that you can go and move for players. I mean, those are really worth a lot worth their weight in gold for a lot of these teams that are struggling to get under these aprons and luxury tax and things like that without having to bring anything back. So I think you'll start to see the offloading begin shortly in terms of some of these big contracts that teams want to get off of, and that could benefit Sacramento. But yeah, I've always felt the trade market is where the Sacramento Kings will be at their most potent and where they can capitalize the most. But also realizing that they have decisions to be made, and you're not going to make a move just to make a move. And I think also the feeling around the league is much like maybe with how it was in the previous regime, is sometimes people tend to think Sacramento Kings have to operate out of a sense of desperation. You get a new GM in there, and knowing that he works for an owner like Vivek Ranadive, patience sometimes isn't in the vocabulary, and it doesn't enter the chat. So I think much like if you're playing fantasy sports, people will try to take advantage of that guy in the room, take advantage of that guy in the league, and see what they can do. And I think there's a lot of weeding out. So I think you've been through the weeding out process. You've pulled a trigger on a few moves. They've been probably mostly lackluster to a lot of Kings fans, but I'm not saying there's a blockbuster on the horizon, but I think they've positioned themselves well to be able to pull a trigger on a major move when it presents itself or when they find one. But in the meantime, I think the trade market is just where their bread will be buttered, whether it's this offseason, next offseason, and even leading up to the deadline.
All right. That's Sean Cunningham from KCRA. We always appreciate your work. I know we'll see each other in Vegas, and maybe that's where we can hang out and get some of that street food, I guess.
Oh, do we trust Vegas street food?
No,
that's a little bit different, sir.
Okay, so I thought I would throw that out there. I know we'll find plenty of good places to go. I know that.
We should. Did you see F1 yet?
I did not.
As someone who often taps into myself to recommend movies,
Yeah.
I would recommend that too.
Okay, so another person that validates that. Did you see it in IMAX?
No, but I did one of those XD showings, which in my mind is maybe just as good. But I mean, if anyone hears this, they're going to go, "Oh, I've heard it before. Young up and comer, mentored or teams up with a has been or never was old guy." Like, yes, it's a sports cliche, but the stuff they do inside that car, and I'm not an F1 guy or NASCAR guy, which is kind of crazy because I've spent my past couple weeks interviewing a bunch of NASCAR people because Sonoma is right around the corner this week.
Yeah.
It was that was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I think you'd love it.
Well, better than I said it earlier. I saw Jurassic Park, whatever the new one is. It's okay. It's
meh.
Yeah, I'm not recommending it. It's fine. I wouldn't say don't go, but it's
Scarlett Johansson though.
Yeah, well, there we go. That was a hit.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, Sean. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, and we'll see you in Vegas.
Yes, you will. See you, buddy.
All right, thank you. That is Sean Cunningham. We appreciate him getting us some insight on the Kings and where they might be going here. Kuminga still could be a thing. Westbrook could still be a thing. We're in the wait and see mode. We really are, and we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up on What's on Deck, what to follow. And still to come, crosstalk with Alan Stiles and celebrity birthdays. Much more shows straight ahead here on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Folsom Lake Ford announces the final days of employee pricing during the 4th of July Sell-a-thon, plus 0 down deals right now at your truck headquarters, FolsomLakeFord.com.
Hi, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay 0 up front. Call Downtown. Text Injury Help to 40222. That's Injury Help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, there's a real chance of Jacob Wilson starting the All-Star game. As of the start of the A's current trip, he had a 250,000 vote lead at shortstop. Next up, the final vote of the top 2 finishers. If he wins that, he'll become the first A's shortstop to start the game in 50 years. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Wow, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
This is why I love doing the show. You get so much more like crowdsourcing and feedback from people when we bring up things as simple as the ice cream truck. Ice cream man, if they're around anywhere. Let's see. We got a lot of people chiming in on this now. Where was this?
I think the park take was a good take. I live kind of near a park.
Yeah.
So that might make sense.
That makes sense. Or like the food truck, like the traditional food truck now. Like I feel like if there's an ice cream truck, it's in that and it's more of a branded like exotic ice creams or chocolate dip this. And it's like, oh, it's like a dessert truck as opposed to the one you're thinking of was when you were a kid. Let's see. Trey says, I was in Santa Clarita over the 4th, and the ice cream truck came right there in the cul-de-sac. They're still around, guys. Okay. A little late, but chiming in on the ice cream truck. We get ice cream trucks out in Stockton. I'll be at my friend's house, not even in my neighborhood, and when I see the ice cream truck pulling around, I stop and get a snowstorm. Okay. I like the Oreo ice cream as well. There you go. It happens. Oh, here we go. Getting recommendations on food places. J. Ross is a Las Vegas local. I got you. Go to the Arts District, a few blocks north of the the Stratosphere book, Esther's Kitchen for Italian. It's phenomenal. Okay. And a local favorite. I always feel like I eat pretty well in Vegas, but we'll always take suggestions. They got other places they're suggesting. Good Belly is a great barbecue spot down there. Stray Pirate is a great tiki bar. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Vegas has everything.
They do. They do. And I think I always say about Vegas, especially in Summer League, when you go, it's either, like I said, 110 or 70. Smoking hot outside or just in the AC of a casino or the gym. But you'll be comfortable. You'll find it. Get a chance to go down there. We're going to get to What's on Deck, brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing in just a moment. But before we do, a few more things to get here. I told you there was another clip, and Anthony cut this, so thank you, Anthony. It was seemingly, I think it was at the very end of the press conference the other day with Doug, Scott Perry, Maxime Renault, and Nick Clifford. And it felt a little bit like a throwaway question. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But the answer totally surprised me. And this was Nick Clifford being asked about wearing the number 5, which we know what the number 5 is meant here recently with De'Aaron Fox, but here's what he said about that.
Yeah, I know there was a little bit of controversy around that number, but honestly, it was really just the best available number at first when I was looking at the list. There's a lot of retired numbers around here, so I ended up choosing 5. And then I started to look deeper into it, and I saw the meanings of the number 5, and it represented personal growth and change, which is kind of what I wanted to embody going into my career. Just being somebody that stays in the gym and continues to grow myself as a person and a player. And then biblically, it represented God's grace and kindness. And so I felt like it was definitely a fitting number for myself. I wore 5 at my pro day, actually. So I've worn it once before and had a decent pro day. So I thought I'd give it a go, and we gonna make it work. But, there was a great player that definitely wore it. So it's high expectations on the number, but I'm ready to wear that number.
Yeah, I just thought it was like, I don't know, like it. Picked it out. It's like, whoa, way more detail than I was expecting for that answer.
I also like that he worked backwards.
Yeah.
Like he picked the number and he was like, now I got to figure out what this means.
Right. And then when he looked up the number and then
Yeah.
he's like, it represents that. I'm like, I had no idea. Yeah. I learned something from Nick Clifford. All right, let's do it. Let's figure out what's on deck, brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be fun. It's time for What's on Deck, brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing.
So we're going to be monitoring Twitter at all times. We had this earlier. If you missed it, an NBA trade today. So you're always going to want to be following all those that cover this stuff. But we did have the NBA trade that moved Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson from Miami, and a second-round pick to the Jazz. John Collins goes from the Jazz to the Los Angeles Clippers. And Norman Powell goes from the Los Angeles Clippers to the Miami Heat. So we'll be continuing to follow that. You got baseball tonight. Phillies at the Giants. So see if the Giants, who just won the series against the A's, can keep that going. A's are off, but they continue their homestand tomorrow, starting that series with the Braves. We got Wimbledon going on. Next round action is continuing from Wimbledon as they're in week 2. NBA Summer League is continuing. It's off today. I think the California Classic was in San Francisco yesterday and then tomorrow. And then a bunch of teams are headed to Vegas. Every team is headed to Vegas for that about 10-day stretch. And like I said, I'll be going out there Thursday. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll report back on what I see. I'll do the show there from Friday. But I like Vegas. I like Summer League, but that's about the sweet spot. I know Sean, who was our last guest, has been there before for all of Summer League into like the Olympic team. And sometimes if you get to Vegas for more than about 3 days, that's about the window. You start to get there past that. It's like, what time is it? Where am I? What day is it?
Yeah. I know people who go there just for like the day.
That's fine too.
Fly there and
that's
then fly
a lot.
back. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, it's doable, but it's crazy. I've done that. I guess I did do that once for one show I went to go see, but trying to think of like, I can't believe I haven't been to a Raider game. I thought I would go more than I haven't gone yet, but I'd like to.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I recently just went to my first football game, period. Recently.
Was it Giant? I mean, 49ers?
Yeah, it was Niners, Bears. It was a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went with a Bears fan. That guy was sad, but that was fine.
But you were happy.
Yeah, I was having a great time.
Yeah. But yeah, Vegas is definitely unique. I've actually heard Vegas is actually, I want to say, hit hard times equivalent. Look, everybody goes through different cycles, different things. And, with money at times being tighter and different things. That's why I still think there's this biggest mystery on whether or not the A's are really going to get there.
Yeah. I was going to say something about that when you said the A's, you said Vegas has everything.
Except for baseball. Yeah, and I'll do it again this time when I go, Anthony, and I'll ask my Uber drivers or cab drivers, the different people you get, I'll just ask about, I kind of, test the waters there and get the temperature, and they'll be like, yeah, we don't really want baseball. We want a baseball team. We don't want the A's. And that's almost been universal, as everybody will say that. I go, how about basketball? Oh, we want basketball.
Yeah.
So they're going to likely get expansion. They love the Golden Knights. Like the hockey team is their thing, and they love the Aces, the women's team from the WNBA. Raiders are fine, but it's like they are not interested in the A's. They'd be interested in baseball, but like they want their own expansion team.
I think the biggest thing is every time they've gotten an expansion team, they've been really good, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Aces are really good. And I think the Golden Knights won the championship their first year.
And had been back, I think, another time. It didn't win, but like they've been really good.
So that'll make you love your team,
And then
then you look at the A's and you're like, okay, no one even likes them over here.
And their owner. It's just that's the thing. Or it's been more about a John Fisher thing. Like, I don't
That's
want that
what
owner.
I mean. Yeah. Not that there's plenty of A's fans. It's just none of them are happy.
Yeah. And that's the really sad part, what has happened to the organization. Like, again, I told everybody I've enjoyed them being here. I've enjoyed going to baseball games, but I'm not truly what would be a traditional A's fan where it's like, yeah, I'm with them no matter who they have. It's like, I feel for that group that loved the team, loved them in Oakland, and they've been treated like crap.
I was also ready to be more of an A's fan when they came here. I was like talking to people, I'm going to be so sad when they go to Vegas. Like we're going to have a baseball team for a few years. And then they just didn't acknowledge Sacramento.
Yeah.
And that really,
I think that was a misstep. I just do.
Oh,
I have no other way to say it. And just by calling them the Sacramento A's, getting some Sac merch, like, I think people would have been more behind it. And then even if knowing like, hey, maybe it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, but we had a good run.
I would have gone to a game by now.
Yeah.
If that was a thing. So
we shall see how they ultimately do with that. All right. That is what's on deck, brought to you by Trex Decking and Railing. When we come back, final segment, Alan Stiles steps in. We'll see what's coming up on his show, check in with Alan's weekend, and celebrity birthdays. All next on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for 2 with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Celebrate the 4th with freedom from high prices. The 4th of July savings sale is happening now at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Fire up your summer with 4th of July savings on a new Civic or Accord. Own or lease today at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A+ Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now. It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
That's not enough for you? Oh,
Yep.
Alan Styles in the building.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Alan?
A lot.
Yeah?
A lot is up. A lot is up.
Meaning on your show or just?
Yeah.
Well, let's start there.
Well, 11 o'clock, Brett Siegel, who has gone back and forth with some other Kings people in the media. Brett Siegel's joining us at 11 to clear up some of this stuff with Jonathan Kuminga, when the Dennis Schroeder sign and trade thing is going to be done, things like that. But yeah, it was a long weekend. It was a great weekend.
Yeah.
Right? We had Thursday off, and I was really enjoying it. There was a lot of talking going on, and at this point, Jason,
it's talk.
I just kind of feel like I have to be Sacramento's Batman, where if nobody is going to hold certain people accountable from just shooting at the hip or shooting from the hip.
So you put the signal on?
I think at 10 o'clock, it's time to hold some people accountable.
Okay.
Because it was a bunch of nothing.
A whole bunch of nothing.
And here's the thing. Carmichael Dave, on that Wednesday, he was at River Cats, right?
You're watching you, evaluating you. How did you do, by the way?
I was outstanding.
Were you cooking?
I was. And Dave and I had some conversations. Dave put out what he put out. We did not move in our stance at all. We told y'all that it was a long shot, this Kuminga thing. And that day, we had the next day off. Not everybody had it off. And some things got said, and it gets clipped, and I'm sitting here. What was I doing Thursday? I was golfing. I see, oh my goodness, end of the weekend, huh? And Jason, it's Monday.
Weekend's over.
The weekend's over.
Yeah.
Nothing. And just we'll just go about our day, and next time something gets said, we'll just eat it up again.
Yeah.
It's the same playbook. I'm tired of the same playbook. That's it, Jason. 10 o'clock.
How was the golf, by the way?
Terrible.
No, come on.
I played Silverado in Napa on the 4th, the most un-American round. Actually, maybe it was the most American round because it was so bad. I don't know, however you want to spin it.
What's bad? What happened?
Well, I couldn't get off the tee in Napa. I could get off the tee at Hagen on Thursday. But I couldn't
play back-to-back days, second day.
Yeah, and then the forearm is just burning.
Excuses.
But I couldn't get off the tee on Friday, and a course like Silverado, PGA level course, you can't get off the tee.
But where's your short game in all this? Saving putts.
So you know what, my buddy, my partner, as you would say, I went 4 bogeys straight to start the round, and this is good for me.
Yeah.
And then he basically was playing like garbage and said, man, if Al beats me, I'm going to need a lesson. And it just got, and I said, well, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, but he got
and I just went haywire after that.
And he thrived.
That's right. Well, he stung too, just not as bad.
But he didn't have to get a lesson.
No, he did not have to get a lesson. So speaking of Hagen, you know who you are. I'm going to have to give you a call because I'm done. I got to beat this guy now. Now it's personal. You disrespect me on the 4th of July.
What a good weekend overall, though?
Yes. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff. We went to, like I said, we went to Napa for the 4th, and then we went to the Sacramento Train Museum, checked out the trains. Those are big trains, man.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Those things are big.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, we finally got out to the river, Sutter's Landing, kicked it on the American River, so it was fun.
You're taking it all in. You're becoming Sacramento.
Very much so. And I won't lead you astray, by the way, other Sacramentans.
Right.
That's right.
From 10 to 2, you got it locked in.
That's right.
All right. Well, with that said, let's do it. Let's find out how much you know that Anthony knows in a little celebrity birthdays here. Brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than Crumble Cookies. Always good to bring to a barbecue. Got to bring something. Bring some Crumble Cookies.
That's right.
Did you barbecue it all over the weekend?
Did we just got the barbecue? That's been a whole thing on the show because place that will remain nameless. They were supposed to put it together. They delivered it, but we paid for them to put it together. And they were a couple days late, but it was done in time for the 4th.
What's the best thing you think you barbecue?
I got the best barbecue chicken.
The best.
The best. In the Thomas.
Maybe.
In the Thomas.
In the toe.
In the toe. You're not going to find better.
Maybe we'll bring, maybe we'll do a barbecue challenge one of the Friday fun and games.
Bring the hot plate back.
It's over there somewhere. Maybe Dave brought it with him on vacation. All right, let's do it. Without Chris here, this will be interesting to see because he's the movie expert. All right, Anthony and Alan. On this date, July 7th, in what year did the movie Scary Movie come out?
Oh, Man. I'm going to say one sounds too early, one sounds too late. I'm going to say 98.
I feel like it was in the 2000s, and I know that sounds wrong. I feel like it's like 2002.
All right. We have a tie. It's 2000.
Wow.
Split the difference there. All right, but you're a 90s expert, allegedly. So is Chris.
Well,
on this date, in what year did the movie Rookie of the Year come out?
Oh.
You know you watched that a million
I
times.
did, but I don't know how old I was when it first came out. I'm going to say, I think I was always younger than I thought, so I'm going to say 96.
I've never seen this movie before in my life. 97.
Alan gets it 1993.
Oh,
man. Like, I don't remember. I wasn't 3 when I saw that.
Right, you watched it. All right, happy birthday today to one of the living Beatles, Ringo Starr.
One of the living, so it's close. 82.
80. Let's do 80.
Alan's closer, 85.
Ooh,
oh,
wow.
Happy birthday to comedian Jim Gaffigan. It's not a great day today.
I don't know who that is either.
Do you know who that is?
Give me I know the name.
I'm going to show you a picture.
Yeah.
Show you guys both a picture.
Show me a picture.
Without a.
I'm probably going to say,
You'll recognize him when you see him, but you may not.
Oh, yeah, I already know. Yeah, with the glasses.
That's terrible. Images right there. Just bad at this. Can you see from there, Anthony?
Yeah, that's who I thought.
Kind of?
Yeah.
He's in commercials. He's a comp.
He's going 57.
Okay.
Let's do 65.
Alan's a little closer, 59.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Lisa Leslie, WNBA legend.
First dunk
in the league.
Ah, man.
Scored 100 points, I think, in high school.
I'm going to say, she in the 6s? No. Can't be in the 6s. I'm going to say 57.
Like 54. I feel like she's younger than that. Am I wrong?
Anthony's closer, 53. Okay, Leslie. Let's go with the Birdman, Chris Anderson.
What? This is such a
I'm stretching today.
Chris Anderson.
Miami Heat.
Yeah. No, the bird, the tattoo and the
all the way up.
Yeah. And the mohawk. I do not know. I'm going to say 50.
Let's do 47.
We have a correct answer. It goes to Anthony Lucas.
Nice.
How about that? Birdman. Nobody knew he had Birdman knowledge.
No, I didn't know that at all.
All right. Well, that's it for birthdays.
Okay.
But we have a big show on your way. A lot for you to say.
Yes. Yeah. Sal Espresso, 10 o'clock.
Nice. How'd you do with Dave in the stands the other day on the Wednesday?
I performed well.
Yeah.
I performed well.
Your A game?
Yeah. Dave was, up and out and all
was he
around.
Even in the seat?
Not really. I try, I'm like, can I get him on a promo? But he just wasn't there. In his Giants jersey, just walking around like he owned the place, complaining about prices.
Oh, my gosh. Sounds like Dave. All right, that's it for us. Thank you, Anthony. Great job. Chris will be back tomorrow. Thanks to Sean Cunningham for joining us. I'm Jason Ross. Have a great day. Alan Stiles is coming your way next.